It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. That's where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about the Cowboy Carter tour. We kicked off. The videos and everything is online. Everybody is praising Blue Ivy over her impeccable dancing. We're going to talk about it, plus the grievances some people have. Because there is some backlash that's going on with the tour too, especially with one particular song that Beyonce sings in the show, and people are upset about it. So we're gonna break that down. I'll give you all the tea on that. Plus, the gays and the days are defending a Beyonce fan because what he was wearing to the Cowboy Carter tour, he was wearing like chaps, he had on like a pair of briefs and a crop top. You already know the gays is going to show out. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, the girls was fighting because it was a couple of big backs that was at the tour. They was up in there fighting. They was tussling and stuff. So we got all them clips and things. I was like, oh yeah, do I have it? Yeah, I had to make sure I had the video. Because if I didn't, I'd have been mad. Plus, we got to talk about Katy Perry, who is talking about all this online hate that she's getting online. Girls still in the bubble and not getting it. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we have some Lorde album news. She made the announcement, I think about an hour ago. I have all the information. I know when it's being released. And we got the album cover in the title. So we're going to talk about all that. Plus, we have to talk about Mary J. Blige being sued by her former stylist, Misa Hylton. That's Justin Combs' mama, Diddy baby mama, the first one. So we got to talk about that. And it's over an artist that was signed to Mary's label. Speaking of the diddler, we're going to talk about that. The judge is allowing Cassie's assault video to be shown to the jury in court. So we're going to talk about that. Kanye released a new album. Producers are threatening to sue him because they said they have not received any money from any production coins and things of that nature. Plus, Mel B is in court with her ex-husband. I thought this whole situation was over, but apparently there's a $5 million court war that she's going through with Stephen Belafonte, so we'll talk about that. Terrence Howard's still out here grifting and going against the gays. I think that man just need to come all the way out the goddamn closet. So at this point, so we got to talk about that because he's saying that the reason why he turned out playing Marvin Gaye because he was going to have to kiss a man. Get off my line with that foolishness. And plus, we have some drag race news. We got to get into this beef between Violet Chachki and the season 17 queens because she said something a little shady on the red carpet, and she's being dragged over what she had to say. Plus, Manila Luzon is giving her, is responding to the Jiggly Caliente stuff. She wrote like a heartfelt thing with to Billboard. I have the whole story here, so we'll break that down because there's been a lot of the drag race girls that have been speaking out about it. But I liked what she wrote. It stood out like Fifi's. So I'm like, we'll go through that when we get to that topic. And so, yeah, there's not really much going on in the news today, but those are the topics that I have at hand. So before we get to those topics, if you can, please hit that like button. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel and also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once the live stream is over, I will be putting in timestamps so that way you guys can follow the topics at hand and skip over the banter that we do in between, while we're doing the live chat. Because, we do have a lot of people that be up in the chat that comment and things of that nature on the topics at hand. So please and thank you. Okay, so let me hit my banner. And without further ado, let's get into this Beyonce story. So as y'all know, Cowboy Carter the tour kicked off the last time I did a show, which was Monday. And we were basically, I talked about it in passing because I had while I was in the middle of one topic, I actually happened to even though I shouldn't be doing this, I opened up my phone and all of a sudden there was a story about Beyonce still struggling to sell tickets at the SoFi Stadium before the show even began. So I was reading that article and I was like, what, at the end of the day, she'll pull through. She'll be able to sell it because, when them ticket sales drop, and I think it's the resale. Like a lot of times you get people that go and during the resale, the pre-sale, they'll go in, buy up a bunch of tickets, hike up the price, and then when those tickets ain't selling, because people are like, ain't no way in hell I'm spending $3,000 on a ticket a floor ticket or even $800 for like a nosebleed. Like, I'm not doing all of that. So when these people who sit up here and do this, which is why between them, Ticketmaster, and all the other little scams and things that they got going on with this stuff, all these middlemen, I feel like it's ruining the tour experience, and people are struggling because it's like, you know what? There's a lot of shows that's going on right now. People really don't have the money to be out here going on so many shows. There are so many concerts, and I feel like this is all because of COVID. Post-COVID, we were all in a situation where a lot of people couldn't tour. Excuse me, a lot of people couldn't tour and stuff. So the economy started getting back to some sort of normalcy. Artists were able to tour again. Now it's going to get to a point because of the current administration we're in, and they're a freaking disaster. Things are going to start going down again. And things are going up. Tariffs is going, this stupid tariffs thing where we had Jeff Bezos just, I thought, had like a spine for 5 minutes before, he decided to backpedal. He was going to put the tariff prices next to his original prices that y'all get on Amazon. So I would have been like, yeah, be mad at the administration. Don't be mad at me. And I really wish he would have stuck with that. But he pussied out, per usual. And I don't understand. This man has more money than we'll ever see in our lifetime. But you got scared of this loudmouth, dry, cottonmouth, fat, wide back heifer. Like, really? Y'all sitting over here just being so scared of this man? I don't get it. At the end of the day, it's all about the grift with a lot of them. But anyway, so while things are going to continue to go up, people are going to have to make decisions on where they're going to be spending their money. Rent prices is going up. I just heard something that people are actually doing this buy now, pay later thing when it comes to buying groceries. I didn't even know you could do that. But apparently, you learn something new every day. But yeah, apparently people are doing that. And people are looking at it as, you know what? I gotta prioritize what I gotta do financially. And people just do not have the freaking money to be out here going to all these concerts. So I don't think it's just gonna be Beyonce that's gonna be suffering. I think also that it's a bunch of them, because look, Lady Gaga's I think she's on tour or going on tour. There's Sabrina Carpenter, you have Kesha, you got all these other artists that are out here doing tours, and quiet as it's kept. Beyonce, you could have kept this tour, because some of the stuff up in there, it literally looked like you just rehashed stuff from the Renaissance tour and just brought it up in here. You made slight changes, and that's like, with the costuming, and you added certain things, but it's pretty much, it feels like an extension of that tour. But the good thing that a lot of people are talking about, the one big positive thing that a lot of people are talking about, is that Blue Ivy has taken center stage in this whole situation. Her glow up is sickening. Her performance is impeccable. You see how confident she is at her young age. She's only 13. And just the amount of confidence in her is like, I feel like she's one of those that's wise beyond her years. And I know when you're the oldest, so much gets put on you. So everybody's talking about Blue Ivy, so let's talk about her. So the pop star, as in Beyonce, who's 43, kicked off her Cowboy Carter tour. She was on stage by her 13-year-old. Wait, she was joined on stage. Okay, I was like, am I reading that wrong? Apparently I am. So she was joined on stage by Blue Ivy, who was the oldest of her 3 kids. And then at one point she did bring out Rumi. Sir, she didn't bring out, which, you know what? Not everybody wants to be in the spotlight. Rumi was up there, looked like she was living her best life, and then Blue was like, "Okay, that's cute or whatever. We gotta get off the stage. Like, we gotta maintain. There's a flow to this." That's what Blue was giving. She was like, "Okay, it's cute or whatever. You can hug up on your mommy. We know you love her and stuff, but you can hug up on her when the show is over." So, Sir didn't come out. He's been kind of behind the scenes. There have been people that have been saying like real disgusting stuff about him, like trying to say, I think he's slow or he's autistic. I was like, let's not talk ill of people's children. And then you had that I'm trying not to look, I'm trying to watch my mouth when it comes to Kanye, but he said some stuff that was just like disgusting. Because if anybody would have said that about his children, including that oldest one who looked like she giving Future bulldog a tease, then he would not like if somebody was talking about his 4 kids. So you need to stop talking about other people's children if you don't want somebody to talk about yours. So fans basically flocked to social media because we saw Rumi up on stage when I think, what was Beyond, I forget what song was she playing, singing, The Protector or something or another. Can't remember. I think something like that. But anyway. So everybody was gushing over Rumi because you really don't see her in the spotlight. But we've seen her. Like, if you go online, there's little pictures of her every now and again. You see Blue more, but Rumi is like every now and again you'll see her. So people was pretty much excited over that. Now, a lot of people did get online. I do have some of the wait, I actually have the picture of them. Hold on, let me pull that up for y'all. While you actually see her on the side right here, smiling, chasing. But then Beyonce, and then you got Blue Ivy up here pumping down that damn runway, giving hair and face. I was like, okay, unleashing her in a drag queen when she was coming up in there. She was, that's baby Sasha Fierce. So yeah, there's a picture here. And so a lot of people went and made the following comments. They was like, thank you, manager Blue Ivy. Then another person said, and I think the manager, thank you, manager Blue Ivy, came from the thing where it was just like they were saying, y'all got to keep it professional. We got to get off the stage. And they said Blue is ready to fire them both for playing with her tour like that. I know Bae was scared for her life, but Rumi was so cute. Hell, I think they're trying to say Blue is the one that stole the show. But it does look like that Beyonce has centered Blue. And I think it's because Beyonce is 43. Not saying that she can't get up there and give energy like Madonna, because Madonna basically was like in her 50s, still dancing as harder than her dancers who were like in their 20s. But I think that because Beyonce had an injury with her foot, whatever, she ain't going as hard as she used to. She's like, I'm gonna pace myself. I'm gonna focus more on, I'm gonna give it a little something. I'm gonna give it a little, I'm gonna give it a little 1-2 step, but I ain't going as hard as Blue is. Blue 13, them bones is good. I done gave y'all enough when I get up on here and do this thing when I gave you these performances for 20, some odd years. But what I'm gonna give y'all vocals. Beyonce sings down. So that's not the issue. I'm gonna give you showmanship. I'm gonna do all of that, but I'm not gonna get up here and dance hard. That's why I got these 30 dancers behind me in Blue. So they can do all the damn work. I'm gonna just get up here and give you a show. I'm gonna ride on a horseshoe around the arena. I'm gonna ride on a pink Corvette. It was a red Corvette, around the arena. I'm going to ride a bull while I'm on stage. I'm going to do all the things. But I ain't doing no crazy ass choreography no more. It's like these feet, I got to protect them. I want to keep walking on these feet, and I don't want to have to be dealing with these, ratchet ass bones when I can be certain. Because, a lot of times when you dancing, all that wear and tear, and then you hear people like when Prince, while he was on them drugs and all that other stuff because of the pain, and you don't want to deal with that. Once I get that surgery, I'm good. I ain't getting up here doing no crazy choreography. So the other people were saying Blue is ready to fight. Oh, I read that part. Then there was another one said manager Blue Ivy said that's cute, but we got to keep it professional. Another person said, so now speaking exclusively to dailymail.com, because this is who wrote the article, they said the inside source maintained that resellers, individuals, and businesses that scoop up mass amounts of concert tickets and resell them to fans for exorbitant prices are largely to blame for limited attendance. And I totally agree with that, because I always say, like, at the end of the day, Beyonce is always going to sell tickets. Beyonce is always going to be that girl that even if she never puts out an album, she can announce a tour, and her most loyal of fan base will come and see her. So she ain't got to worry about all that. But I do feel like these people that be out here reselling tickets, y'all are just shady as hell. Like, y'all need to stop doing that to people, because y'all rob fans of this experience of wanting to go see them. And I said, in this tough economy, people don't have the money to be out here spending to go see their favorite artist or spend thousands of dollars. And even if you get a ticket for nosebleed, like, to me, when I was looking at this stuff, I noticed a lot of people that was filming, and I saw like a really good one. But if I'm going to a concert, one, I don't want to sit there and spend the whole show watching the show through my phone or whatever equipment you're using to film to post on social media. Number two, I don't want to spend a whole show staring at a screen. I want to be able to look at Beyonce live moving around. I don't want to have to be like, I'm so far back, I'm looking at a bunch of ants moving around on the stage, and then all I can do is get all the good shots. That's why she got like multitude of cameras around to shoot everything, so that way y'all can get that experience. But I'm like, if that's the case, I could just sit my behind home and just watch it that way. Like, I don't want to have to spend thousands of dollars to go see something that I got to watch on the screen like I'm watching an expensive movie. Like, no, I don't want that experience. If I'm going to a concert, I want to be able to experience the concert. I want to be able to see everything without having to resort to looking at giant jumbo screens. So, but that's just me. Because, I'm a live person. I like live entertainment. And on top of that, I work in live entertainment. So those are the things that I want when I go and deal with a show. But they also say that they said still the insider claim Beyonce and Jay-Z were remaining hopeful that the and are expecting more of her fans to buy tickets today in the coming days if resale gets cheaper. And that's usually what people do. People will wait literally to the day of. They have they outfits and everything already. They'll probably go to the box office and buy a ticket that way, or they'll check Ticketmaster or one of the other apps one more time and notice that look, we need people. The tickets is $25. The tickets is $50. Okay, well, looks like I'm going to see Beyonce tonight. And when it shouldn't have to get to a point that I have to literally wait less than 24 hours to buy a ticket to a concert because I got to wait for y'all to drop it down to $20 because y'all are so thirsty and desperate to fill up the arena. I mean, the stadium. Well, artists who do arenas, they do the same thing with them too. But we talking about Beyonce here. So when people go online and it's like, well, look, they done lied. It's all a lie. She sold out. Look at all these people here. It's like, okay, sis. Now, I pulled up the evidence for y'all to show y'all. But actually, I do have the evidence. Let me pull that up. Because, a lot of people like to make a liar out of people or thinking that you're a hater or whatever the case is. I do love a lot of this synchronicity of the choreography. But Beyonce says you've done this so many times already. It's time for you to get new choreographers. It's time for you to get a new team of people to start working with because it's starting to look a little samey with some of the stage stuff you do too. So, yeah. So this is the stage and all of this up in here where you can see the blue and things of that nature. Hold on, let me see which event spot that is. They said this is the SoFi Stadium ahead of Cowboy opening night on April 28th. So this is before the 28th. Then I have another one, and this is a recent one because people are like, well, that's past already. So what's the evidence with that? Like that, they'll try to debunk that. But now this is for May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So May 4th, she is supposed to go back to the SoFi Stadium. And this screenshot is basically showing swaps of unoccupied seats at the stadium. So if she's going to have to do this again, which is you're going to have to go through this thing where drop the tickets again and people will go see it. But I have a mutual friend of Robert, friend to the show, Crystal Vanity, went, and she said she had a good time. And I know she posted some stuff on social media. I haven't seen the videos and things of that nature, but I've been seeing other people's videos. And I'm like, it was cute for what I saw, but this was the funny one that I saw because somebody went and posted this, that it was like, yeah, they wound up getting a ticket at the last minute. They said they were going for $27 at one point, although they have since increased to $37 for the cheap seats. And they said, LMAO, what a flop. As well, it's not a flop if she made capacity. So you bring, and here's the thing too, who actually reads somebody for going to see a Beyonce show for $37? I don't think, so y'all think paying $2,000 for a concert is a flex? That's rent money right there. Like this is how I look at some of y'all, where it's like, do y'all not prioritize y'all coins? Y'all really think that, oh, I'm gonna pay $2,000 for a floor seat? Yeah, because I got the money. I'm big and bad. It's a flex. That's that capitalist crap. Get off my line with that. If there's a way that I can go see a concert and y'all tell me that shit is $37, Chris is gonna show up. Because I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. Because here's the thing, I'll pay $37. I'll be mad as a nosebleed, but nevertheless, at least I'm there and I can see something. Whereas in the arenas, there be certain spots where it's just like, damn, you can't really see the show and stuff if you too high up. But at least I can see the screens and say, I did say I don't want to see no concert with just looking at a damn screen. I want to be able to be close enough where I can see the show. But if you're going to drop the ticket to $37, I was like, yeah, I'll go. Because you want to know something? First, you buy the ticket. And that's $2,000, right? Just for shits and giggles. Let's just entertain that. Then when you get inside, right, you need to buy a drink. You know how much concessions cost, especially if you're trying to buy an alcoholic beverage? One drink, a double, I would say about $20. That's how much you paying for one drink, an alcoholic beverage, $20. So you willing to spend not only thousands on the seat, but if you hungry or you thirsty and you want to get lit, I mean, I'm sure there's people that pregame. For the most part, if you want to get lit, why the hell am I want to be like, okay, so paying $50, $60 for if I'm just by myself on liquor alone, that's a flex too? Y'all really like just throwing away money? I mean, if you like throwing away money, you can send it over here. I'll take it. But then they said that one Beyonce fan claimed their floor ticket had been moved by the production team to a different section at SoFi Stadium because of an obstructive view of the stage. That's another thing too that I don't like about these stadium tours is the fact that when you on the way that they have things set up with the stage and everything, and then plus you have like the seating, there's a level is like you can't really see all that well because you're way down and the stage is way up. And then depending on where they stage everything, your view could be obstructed. So it's a whole bunch of things that goes into you really having to plan what's the perfect spot to purchase tickets so you can see the show and you actually be like, yeah, I did. Because you know how many people I hear when they come in for like Knicks games, concerts, whatever the case is, and they'll be like, oh, I did good. Like they'll say it to their girl or their friend or whatever. See, I did good, right? Like I got us good spots. Like they get really excited when they buy tickets and they go on a win and a prayer and they hope that, you know, depending on, because you can't really see how things is set up based off of the design. So you go by just hoping and praying that you got a good spot or you know how to pick the ticket for whatever section you in. And then when you get to the section, they come in and they just be excited. So there's all these things you got to think about too. So now they said the promoter, Live Nation, confirmed in a statement to Billboard that Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour is 94% sold out at all dates. Well, who's going to believe Live Nation? Because Live Nation, y'all got a job to do. So, of course, y'all going to sit up here and just say what y'all be saying. But to, you know, ease up the situation. But here's the thing. Cowboy Carter did what it did on the charts. It won a bunch of Grammys, including like, what was it? Album of the Year. Didn't it win Best Country Album too? Which I'm sure pissed a lot of people off. And look, Renaissance Tour, it made $579 million 2 years ago when it happened and secured a spot among the top 10 highest grossing tours in history. So Beyonce ain't hurting for coins, which has got me, baffled as to why she would even consider going on tour for this record when it's got like a small market of people who like it. And I don't even think the hardest of Beehive like the album, but I think because it's Beyonce, they're just going to support whatever she does. So to wrap all this up, there were some other things that I had seen as well, including there was a story that I saw that there was, you know, a lot of discourse online about the slow ticket sales. We already dealt with that. And then the fact of the matter is that people are upset because she sings the Star Spangled Banner. And people were talking about y'all need to get refunds. How's she gonna be singing that song in a time like this because of the, you know, what Trump and his band of village idiots are freaking doing to the country at the moment. But here's what my take on that is. I just think that people are being extra by calling her a sellout and demanding refunds. If you're going to pay for a ticket to go see somebody like a Beyonce, and you already know where she stands artistically and politically because she says it all throughout her music, including if you listen to Cowboy Carter, then you sit up in here trying to demand your money back. I wouldn't give you a damn dime because you know what you're getting when you go see these artists. So stop it. Now, while the administration currently is busy deporting Hispanic immigrants and cracking down on people and trying to roll every damn thing back, to me, what I take from Beyonce singing the national anthem, I think what she's basically saying is that the U.S. was built on the backs of immigrants, and immigrants are who have kept this country running. So I feel like this is an act of protest by her singing. It's like, at the end of the day, we are all Americans, regardless of what the other administration says. So that's what I'm taking from her singing the Star Spangled Banner. So pipe down, people. Like yesterday, we had the singer from, I didn't even know he sang, the black kid that was on that show On My Block, which I actually like. He was a silly one. I forget his name. But he apparently is doing Michael the musical. And he came in and he sang the national anthem. And I was like, I didn't even know he sang. Isn't that what Mariah said about Jennifer Lopez? Or who was it that she said that about? Oh, wait. It was Nicki Minaj. She was like, I didn't even know she sang. But anyway, so now I'm surprised she didn't sing Live Every Voice, which is basically, you know, the black national anthem. But I think that would have probably been so on the nose. Now, as for the tour, I'm still going to stand 10 toes down on what I've been saying from the beginning, which is basically that I feel like she should have gone and did a more intimate type show, a la Madonna's Madame X tour, or even Lady Gaga's promotional The Dive Bar tour, which she did during the Joanne era. Now, I do know that Gaga did take the Joanne World Tour, and she did some arenas, some stadiums, but I still feel like if you were going to do something of that magnitude, it should have had more of an intimate setting. But based off of what I'm seeing with this show, with the the flying freaking horseshoes and the car being floated around the entire arena while she's singing 16 carriages and all these other things that's flying in the air. I don't know who flying in the air more, her or Katy Perry, but Beyonce in the air a lot. But I don't think she's in the air a lot as much as Katy Perry. But y'all get the gist. It's like, why am I breaking down that part? But anyway, so yeah, so I'm thinking with all of that and the big screens and the visuals and all other stuff, she feels like that only a stadium setting could accommodate all of that. But I do feel like if you were going to do Cowboy Carter, which this record is heavily, or the tour is heavily using a lot of songs from that. And then when you hear other songs, which would be like classic songs, there are like shorter revised versions of it, abbreviated versions, I should say. But then you're doing Renaissance stuff because I feel like Beyonce knows that she can't sell this tour specifically on Cowboy Carter's songs. So I need to add the Renaissance stuff in there. And I need to add a couple of the classics in there. But we'll see how well the tour continues to do. If people are really if seeing all of this, it's got people to want to go and see this tour. And then also, I was not liking this from a lot of the conglomerates. I don't like the fact that y'all comparing her sales to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift and Beyonce are two different artists. And to me, I'm not trying to say that white people don't listen to Beyonce, because they do. But I do feel like there are way more white people that support Tay-Tay than Beyonce. And to me, I feel like with Cowboy Carter, it did divide a lot of people. I just feel like not only, the racial discourse behind country music and all that other stuff, but I also feel like how y'all know I live for Madonna, and how I feel about Madame X being my least favorite of one of her albums. I do feel like Cowboy Carter is the least favorite amongst Beyonce fans, but they're not going to admit it because it's like they don't want to go against the grain. It's like it's okay to have an artist that you like and not like the product that they put out, or it's something that's like, oh, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not really into this genre. I get what you was doing. You get an A for effort, but this is just not my favorite era of this artist. And like with me, Madame X is not my favorite era from Madonna. Just like I'm sure there's a lot that era is not, the Cowboy Carter era is not everybody's favorite. So at the end of the day, like I said, Beyonce has a bunch of loyal fans who will support her. And she doesn't ever have to release another album because, with all her back catalog, she could just continue to just tour for the rest of her life. Although I do feel like with Blue being out there so much and loving what she does, because her glow up from her kind of dancing like Katy Perry is dancing currently on this Lifetime tour to actually dancing to like how Beyonce used to dance back in the day, in the early days of her career, when she would get up there and give you hair and hairography and everything. And I love the fact that Blue, at one point when she was up there dancing and her hair got on her face, covered her whole face, she didn't even move it out of her face. She was like, I'm going to get back to dancing. It's going to move eventually. That's the way you do it. It's like, don't let little things that happen affect the moments that you have to get up on that stage and really serve the performance. And she definitely gave that. And if people want to sit up here and call her Nepo baby, look, what's wrong with being a Nepo baby? The fact of the matter is this girl is getting trained by some of the best people only money can buy, the best dancers, all this stuff. And that child gonna be dangerous if she's like, you know what, I want to be a singer too. And if she goes and starts taking vocal lessons, Beyonce, little Blue Ivy gonna be up in here being a little baby pop star. So now with saying all of this, I do feel like Beyonce, it's time for you to take a break from touring. It's time for you to fire your creative team. It's time for you to bring in some new people. And you need to be inspired because no shade, I really feel like, and this is going to be, well, it's not going to be hard for me to say. This is me throwing a little shade. But I do feel like Lady Gaga and Gaga Cella, she changed the game for her in regards of how she was doing things a certain way, but then when we saw Gaga Cella, which I think a lot of people are kind of getting upset that they feel like she's basically taking Gaga Cella and is touring with that. And it's like, but child, we just saw that on YouTube for free. Why are you gonna have us spend money to see this on your upcoming tour? Which I'm wondering if this whole tour that she's doing is basically just for that, and then she's gonna change it up when she does the arena tours, or is this the actual tour? We won't. I guess we won't know until she officially starts the arena tour. But right now, she's doing like these big stadium tours in where she's supposed to be going to Singapore next, and then she did Mexico City, she did Coachella. So people are assuming that's what she's going to do. I'm like, sis, change up some of that. So by the time you hit the arena tour, it has some of those elements, but you're bringing something new in. Because if you try to sell people on the Coachella performance and saying that this is the tour, people will get pissed off about that, because it's like, but why am I spending money on something I already saw for free on YouTube? But back to Beyonce, I do feel like, sis, it is time for you to get new creative people around you. You're giving the same type of choreography, you're giving the same visuals, you're giving the same stuff. So I feel like you're not inspired creatively. Like, I get that, I'm not creative to the point of like the stage show. All the visuals, all the stuff, yeah, that's cute. Yeah, that's slightly different. Some of the stuff we've already seen with the Renaissance tour. But in regards of like what I'm talking about with Lady Gaga, which is like, y'all were not expecting when you saw Coachella that level of performance that she brought. That was a surprise for a lot of us. So it's time for Beyonce to surprise the hell out of us and give us something that we won't be expecting whenever she comes on the stage. Because to me, all of that stuff that I was seeing, I'm like, yeah, this is what she's going to give. Like, don't fall into Janet Jackson territory. Don't start relying on doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and there's no evolution. Don't get caught up in that, because you are one of the best live performers of my generation. So, just a little constructive criticism. But before we get up out of here, I need to show y'all this video. So apparently, after the show, the Big Backs was fighting. So yeah, they was up in here fighting and stuff. I don't know what the hell for, but I had a cackle watching it. So let's watch this clip as a family, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold. Oh, Wanda ass. I was like, wow, the Big Backs fighting. And then this one just did that little slow tumble on the floor. It felt like a tumbleweed.
Another show after the Beyonce show?
Okay. Right at the Beyonce show. A mess. So, I'll say all this to say, because that was a long one. What do y'all think of this story in regards of the Cowboy Carter tour? Have you guys seen it yet? Are you going to go see it? Do you feel that some of the criticisms are valid? Would you like to see Beyonce change up and stuff, what she's doing with her tour? People. And another thing somebody brought up to me too, one of my friends was saying that people was being mean to her kids and stuff online. I didn't hear nothing like that, but I was sitting there like, I'd have been pissed off if y'all, like, don't be out here talking about people's kids, because I don't like that. Because one of my friends said people have only so much entertainment money. And when I posted the thing about Beyonce fans are in this story that I'm talking about, and they said, and contrary to Trump, well, this is my friend Carla, and she said to Trump and the maggots spewing how great the economy is, it ain't. People can't afford tickets that are hundreds and into thousands of dollars to attend. So many tours out there, and you just can't see them all. I think it is great that she has her children with her on tour, and they want to participate in the show. I do have to say this, though. I have read some very awful comments directed at the girls, and I'm disgusted by the adults, and that was in air quotes, but she said the adults, that have made some very derogatory marks. Teens are committing suicide in alarming numbers these days. It is bad enough that kids are bullying other kids the way they are, but for adults to talk about these or any other children the way they do is just disgusting. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't like the fact that you have grown-ass people out here talking about people's children in a disrespectful way. At least the gag is these kids are out here doing something that you'll never be able to do in your lifetime, and you mad? It's like, Blue was killing it on that stage. I was like literally watching. I'm like, like, what the hell? I gagged watching that performance. I'm like, oh, well, the performance is because she's got like, from what I've heard, she has 5 costume changes. I'm like, let me find out you about to rival your mother in the costume changing department and probably be dressed faster than Beyonce. But you know, when you do these shows or whatever, you do get help putting them costumes together because you only got a short amount of time before you have to hit the stage for your next situation. So yeah, I want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Hello, hello, hello. Hola, everyone. Hola, chismosa. I forgot you was on your vacation. Well, I'm glad y'all still clocking in. So, Simone went to, you said Simone went live on IG as soon as the show started. So I watched it on there. I then watched a live stream on the Clock app, but then it got to, yeah, there was a lot of people which I found crazy. There was a lot of people that was doing, live streams of the concert. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all are just so corny with that, with the whole live streaming other people's shows. But, and I just feel like a lot of people, maybe you have to go and experience it in order to kind of get the overall vibe. Because I was wondering, would it be the same as like when people were very critical of Kylie Minogue's concert? They were talking about how minimal it is, and it doesn't look like it's that exciting, it doesn't look that great. But then when you actually went to see the show, everybody changed their tune. So it was like, maybe it needs to be that. But I was like, I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed watching. I was underwhelmed watching, but I do agree. You said Beyonce's dances / choreography definitely wasn't giving Beyonce. The tour visuals did a lot of the work. Yeah, it was the tour visuals and Blue. She basically was doing the heavy lifting. Beyonce was out there just doing the singing and stuff, but it just this feels like a money grab. That's what this feels like. It doesn't feel like she was all that excited to go and do this tour. It just feels like you just want to threw something together. You have the Cowboy Carter tour, so you can add those extra elements in it. And funnily enough, I actually thought Honey Balenciaga was going to actually be touring with Lady Gaga because she's in the Abracadabra music video. But then I forgot Beyonce was touring, so I'm like, nah, she's with her. And I did see Honey many a times when I was watching. You said in the age of QR codes, how exactly does Ticketmaster still have a stranglehold? That's what I'm saying. Because what Ticketmaster and them do is criminal. Thank God I work in the live music industry because I don't have to pay for none of these damn shows because if I did, I'd be tight. With the amount of money that I'd be spending. From what I've observed, if you went to Renaissance tour, there's no need to say exactly. That's what I said. And you said unless you're a big Beehive stand, exactly. So it's like the Beehive is going to show up. They're going to swarm, and that's fine. If y'all want to go and continue to swarm the nest and go be with Queen Bee, then that's cute or whatever. But if you're trying to appeal to the masses, meaning you need to recoup the amount of money that you asking for these people to get, you're not going to get that with just the Beehive. You need to expand beyond that. But but it'd be expensive out in these streets. And people are just picking very carefully. People are going to start being like, well, I can only see 2 concerts this year, so I got to flip a coin. I'm going to go see Gaga, and I'm going to go see whoever else you're going to see, but I can't see Beyonce this year. I'm going to have to wait until the next tour. Years ago, I won Beyonce tickets for Barracuda. I forgot. R.I.P. We lost Barracuda recently, actually. For her Sasha Fierce tour, yeah, it was a nosebleed section, but my friend and I were not mad about it. We saw Beyonce and still had money to hang. Exactly. So you won the tickets. It was a nosebleed. You got to go see it, but you went, you had a good time, and you had money where you could just go out and buy you a drink, whatever the case is. You didn't have to spend no money on, the ticket plus everything else that comes with it. My friend went, said Blue ate and Beyonce was good, but it wasn't her best. Ooh. Well, look, when I tell y'all stuff, I'm coming at y'all being a realist. It's no hate, it's no shade. But it was like, yeah. And here's the thing. Now you're up there trying to compete with Taylor Swift by doing 3-hour concerts. So now it's getting to the point where y'all doing these long concerts. All right. So speaking of Beyonce, we have more Beyonce news, but it's more homosexual Beyonce news because one of her homosexual fans apparently was getting critiqued online for an outfit that he wore. First of all, he only showed the front. I wanted to see the back. But hold on, let me pull up the picture for y'all. So yeah, he went to the Beyonce concert wearing this, and the girls was out here being very overly critical of what he had to wear or what he was wearing. So now on Monday, one of the many, and we mean many, Beyonce stan accounts posted a photo of a hunky Queen Bey fanatic dressed like a true Cowboy Carter, presumably for the start of the music legends Cowboy Carter and the Rodeo Chitlin Circuit Tour. The string of shows, which will last until July 26th, began Sunday night at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The man looks, and yes he does, straight up delicious with a toned tan bod and glamorous attire. He got the requisite white cowboy hat along with a petite American flag sports bra and cherry red Speedo. The accessories, highlighted by a pair of glittered furry chaps, are inciting the most patriotism we experienced since the Obama era. I cannot. Shout out to QWERTY for this shady ass post. Well, it sounds like a thirst trap mostly. He makes us want to stand and shout the Pledge of Allegiance to beautiful men everywhere. What can we say? Now, the person behind an account called at Bay's Catalog. I was like, wait, Bay's Scat? I was like, what y'all talking about scat up in here? But it says Bay's Catalog. However, view the outfit differently. A fan looks questionable at the hashtag Cowboy Carter Tour. The person posted probably with the hope of igniting a full-on hate fest. And I think what you can see on the right, it says a fan looks questionable at the Cowboy Carter Tour. And I'm like, questionable? My question would be, where the hell did you get that outfit? And can you take it off? Because I want to see you naked. Like, that would have been the next comment. And first of all, when you fine as hell and you were homosexual, first of all, what was y'all expecting the gays to wear to a Cowboy Carter tour? Y'all thought we was going to come in t-shirt and jeans? You already know the gays is going to show up and show out. Like, that's a given. And then not only the gays, but there was some women that I saw too that were wearing way less than what he was wearing. Like, saw a girl with her little attire on. Like, she had on coochie cutter shorts, like the ones Beyonce had, but Beyonce was denim. She had those on. Her titties was up to her damn neck. That's how high she had them. So, if the women can come scantily clad, but you thought the gays was going to come in dressed in a damn burqa? Like, that wasn't happening. You already know if it's a theme, the gays is going to show out. And this is a look that you would see any homosexual male wear to, like, any circuit party, any club that you go to. I would say in New York, because those are the ones I usually go to. But if you were to go out to, like, other spots too, this is like attire that you would see guys wearing. So the gay internet basically transformed and rolled out like Optimus Prime and came in formation and came to the defense of this man because you was trying to read him down to the floor, and they came to his defense. And they said that this is about as rare of an occurrence as finding a Beyonce ticket for under $200. Well, if you wait the day of, you will find a ticket under $200. Yes, it'll be a nosebleed seat, but you'll find it. So one person by the name of Swolealist wrote the following question. The question being, what's his at? That's what I want to know. If y'all know his at, fan out and let me know in the comments. Another person by the name of J Ray _ said questionable equals edible. Mm-hmm. Then there was somebody by the name of Chris is Clueless said, sorry, this is Fab IDC, which basically means I don't care. Then there was another person by the name of Jay Jordan who said she looks stunning. Not she, well, you know the gays, we use the she plural. Luce Enrique with two Y's at the end of his name said he ate with this look. Now another person said I'm feral. Another person said, and the answer to the question is would, and I concur. Now it says there is a tremendous irony behind the notion that the Queen Bey devotee would demean another member of the Beehive community and all the other stuff. So look, I don't understand what's the big issue. why are we out here bullying people for what they wear? I don't know if the guy who wrote the comment was gay or if the person was just some straight up homophobe trying to be cute or whatever because they want clicks and likes on their Twitter. But for the most part, why are we critiquing people who wear the things that they wear? When I showed y'all what them big backs was wearing when they was fighting, they look like a hot mess. Whereas we looking at him, he looks cute. And we know Madonna. We know Beyonce lives for the homosexuals. She lives for the gay community. She did a thing on the New Now Next. She did like this little New Now Next clip back in the day. And this is, I think, like 2008 or whatever, where she said, if I was a boy, I would probably still like boys, because when she came out with that song, If I Were a Boy. So she was like, and then she talks about her Uncle Johnny, which I heard that Tina brings up in the book about the story about Uncle Johnny, you know, who made Beyonce's dress and was a mess and all that stuff. So we have a lot of stuff to worry about, especially with this current administration, you know, going after trans people. And I'm sure that the rest of us on that homosexual acronym, you know, the L, the B, and the G, we probably going to be affected by some mess too. So maybe we should come together collectively and stop throwing so much shade at each other and critiquing what other people say. Oh, another person said, where's the picture from the back? That's what I want to know. Inquiring minds. Another person said, this is so ugly. Can you ask him to turn around so I can see how hideous the rest looks for me? Now, you know, I love when people will be like, they'll start out saying something that's just mean and shady, and then you read it and it's like, wait, what? And then it's like a pickup line. So yeah, he looks good. I don't understand the critiques or the critical mess and all this other stuff. And another person got me questioning something, that's for sure. So look, like I said earlier, I don't know why y'all surprised that somebody like this young man would show up to a Beyonce concert look like this. You know, the gays work on our bodies. We in the gym all the time trying to look cute, trying to bag us, you know, whatever we trying to bag. And y'all out here hating from outside the club, because it's like, we know it's about to get warm out in these streets. You want to be looking cute, and when you go to a show, whether it's a concert, a club, whatever, you want to feel sexy, you want to look good, and if you got it, flaunt it. So I ain't even mad at him. So I ask all of you, what do y'all think? You know, male, female, they, or gay. What do y'all think of this story regarding you know, people criticize, well, there's one person criticizing him for his outfit, but look, he had a lot of people that came to his defense. So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, and what will y'all be wearing to the Cowboy Carter concert if y'all plan on going? So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. So I wouldn't wear that. He said it does look a little cheap. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just think it's cute, because I think people will probably excuse it because it's an attractive guy wearing it. But I wouldn't be surprised if he picked a lot of that stuff up off Temu or Shein before them tariffs kicked in. So, but yeah. But look, at least he wore a pair of briefs, because you know, if it was the gays, it'd be a jock strap or, you know, like a thong or something. So at least he was being tasteful about it, even though he was scantily clad. 24K people agreed. Child, I didn't even look at the number. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Perry, who's still just not getting it. But it is what it is. So, you know, speaking of tours, this is another one that is suffering financially. And based off of what we've seen online, I think people are smart to save their money and go see somebody else, or just use the money to pay your bills. But nevertheless, you know, she's been getting dragged. So I'm looking at Katy Perry as she is the Jennifer Lopez of 2025. Because last year, when it was about touring and things of that nature, it was about Jennifer Lopez with the This Is Me, Nobody Asked for This tour. And now we have this tour, which nobody asked for. And then she gets up on stage and she's giving nothing. She's giving Blue Ivy when she first started out dancing. That's how Katy Perry dances now. And now people are starting to see through the cracks and realizing, damn, this broad was mid the whole damn time. And we just now, you know, now that I guess the rose-colored glasses have come off, now people seeing Katy Perry for the hot mess that she truly is. So her latest tour has also become the subject of endless memes, with the pop singer appearing to put on a series of uncharacteristically downbeat performances. That's like what somebody said about Mary J. Blige saying she looked tired. But we got that story about Mary coming up. And that appears to have been enough for the fireworks singer to lambast her critics in an emotional rant. Now, Katy posted a lengthy message after being moved by a gesture from some of her most dedicated Brazilian fans who clubbed together. Well, I guess that's a British term. I think what they're saying is that they scraped some money together to pay for a digital billboard in New York City's Times Square. First of all, why do we have to get the stray? You couldn't have did that in Brazil. Y'all don't have jumbotrons and things out there. Y'all don't have your own version of Times Square. Why you had to go in and put that out here where we have to actually walk through Times Square and see it? Just a question. So the billboard read, "Congratulations on the opening week of the tour. We are proud of you and your magical journey, and we love you to the moon and back." Well, they should have left her ass up at the moon. Quiet as it's kept. She didn't even make it that far. But I do want to talk about congratulations on the opening week. Was that shade? Because opening week was a mess. I do have that billboard. So yeah, there's that. That's what they paid for. Oh, what's a little something on the side? Nobody would have read that. That literally looked like something they just typed on a damn computer, screenshot it, and sent it in. That's what that gives. Like, it looks like a screensaver on your damn computer that you have at work. So they said, know that you are safe, seen, and celebrated. We'll see you around the world. This is just the beginning. From your worldwide cats. Now, Katy reacted to the gesture and hit out at the internet as a dumping ground for unhinged and unhealed. So apparently all of us who are critiquing her horrible ass live performances and her whack ass dancing, we all need some healing. No, sis, you need healing for working with Dr. Luke, knowing his reputation and saying that you did it because of whatever. I don't even remember anymore. That girl changes her damn stories like I change my damn underwear daily, so I can't keep up. But you didn't want to stand on what you was doing, and plus, people are still dragging you about that time you try to buy a nunnery. Well, what was it, like the place where the nuns stay? And one of the nuns died after she basically cursed you. She passed away. She collapsed and died. And then you try to buy that. Then I think she went and bought a house with this old man that has Alzheimer's. And he said that on his dying days, he wanted to spend time in that. So she just been a house demon, haunting everybody's house. Damn, maybe they should have put you in that new movie coming out with Julia Garner. When you see all the little kids running in the street and then they vanish in the middle of the night, that's what she gives. She gives that type of demon that just be out there with that voice like the Pied Piper, and probably pulling children out of their house at 2 a.m. and probably doing all kinds of demonic stuff with them. But anyway, so she said this. It's called Weapons, by the way. So she said this. She said, "I'm so grateful for you guys. We're in this beautiful and wild journey together. I can continue to remain true to myself." Okay, let me try to get through this because this is a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, she said, "Heart open and honest, especially because of our bond. I love you guys and have grown up together with you and so excited to see you all over the world this year. Please know I am okay. I've done a lot of work around knowing who I am. This is real and what is important to me. My therapist said something years ago that has been a game changer. No one can make you believe something about yourself that you don't already believe about yourself. And if I ever do have any feelings about it, then it's an opportunity to investigate the feeling underneath it. When the online world tries to make me a human piñata, I take it with grace and send them love because I know so many people are hurting in so many ways, and the internet is very much so a dumping ground for unhinged and unhealed. What's real is seeing your faces every night, singing in unison, reading your notes, feeling your warmth. I find people to lock eyes and sing with, and I know we are healing each other in a small way when I get to do that. I'm not perfect, and I actually have omitted the word from my vocabulary, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is going on and on and on, yeah. But, sis, you sat out here and you just ripped off everybody's damn tour. Like, you literally have elements of a lot of tours, including Pink, you took from... Off the top of my head, you took from Madonna's Drowned World Tour, like we don't remember that damn tour. During the Sky Fits Heaven sequence, where she's doing the martial arts and the fighting and all the other stuff, she took that from Madonna. With whatever she's trying to do with that stupid lightsaber thing that she's doing, and the choreography is off. and y'all just standing around waiting for stuff to happen, and then you reacted to it. So it's like y'all didn't even like literally. I feel like we're watching the rehearsals, the first draft of the show in real time, and y'all haven't even like rehearsed it through to be like, okay, the show was good enough, we're ready to go. Like I feel like we're all just witnessing the rehearsal stage, and that's what you're selling your fans. And if the Katy cast want to be just as delusional as she was with that post she posted up, then that's on y'all. Continue to waste y'all money on bullshit, but I'm not. So well, hold on, because I don't want to have to sit and read this mess again. So now, one person commented, she just looks tired and bored. Another person said, it's okay to retire, girl. Now, she's not the only one. There was one of the things I didn't even know is that Lily Allen, remember her? The British singer who also was in a relationship with David Harbour, who's got a big movie coming out this week, Thunderbolts. He's also from Stranger Things. They used to be in a relationship together. They're not anymore. I think they broke up in like a couple of months ago. But anyway, so Lily Allen went and actually dragged Katy Perry, but then she ended up apologizing. So here's what she said. But she said, do we want to talk about Katy Perry and her mates all going up to space for 12 minutes? I mean, what the effing hell is that all about? But in all seriousness, what? Why? She added, we're on the brink of a recession. People are really effing struggling to make ends meet and get food on their table. So I guess the Brits is dealing with that too, because apparently, from what I was hearing, is that their Supreme Court had just came up with something to go against the trans community and all that stuff. I wish I had that article in front of me, which ended up having a lot of actors, including Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us, and a bunch of others, including one of the new actors that's going to be on the Harry Potter series. They all signed a petition. So it was like, damn, you got somebody that is on a J.K. Rowling situation based on her books that is going against her stance on trans issues, and I don't think she's gonna get him fired. But so then, so yeah, they saying they're on the brink. So I guess they're on the brink of a recession in the UK too, or is she living in the United States? I don't know where she lives. But then she apologized and she said she was being mean, and that although she disagreed with the flight, there was no need to join the pile on against her. And then she said this on her podcast. She said, quote, I would actually like to apologize for being mean about Katy Perry last week. There was actually no need for me to bring her name into it, and it was my own internalized misogyny. Is it misogynistic for a woman to criticize another woman, especially, or is it this thing that they're piling on because it was a bunch of women that went up in space? So now if you say anything remotely critical of that, you feel like, okay, y'all missed the mark. There's so many things going on. Like we're about to, go, not a recession. It feels like we're about to enter a depression. But y'all got all this money to just be sending a bunch of people up in space for 10 minutes just to go, lick the tip of the planet and then come back down. But this is what y'all spending your money on. But she wasn't the only one that went up there. It was Gayle King and a bunch of others too. But I guess the reason why people piled on Katy Perry is because she was the biggest celebrity name to be up or to do it. So that's why I think people are more critical. It's like, yeah, we know Gayle King, but nobody cares about her that damn much. We just know her as, we know she does anchor stuff, but we know her as Oprah's sister. Like, that's all we know her as. So yeah, so she apologized about that. All that good stuff. It was like 10 minutes they went up in space. And yeah, so that's the latest. But I just feel like, you know what, it's cute or whatever that Katy, you can sit up here and just be like, oh, well, they're piling on and I send love. It feels like, when some people say bless your heart, when somebody does something stupid, that's what it really feels like. You said, no, you really be saying F you to us behind the scenes. You just trying to play like you this love and light warrior when you on social media and on camera. But, a lot of people say, well, will the real Katy Perry please stand up? So we on to you, sis. But you giving the bare minimum. You can't expect people to not criticize you. The album is trash. You work with Donda, so people are pissed off about that. You did, you've been, just been doing a lot of questionable things. And it's just, people are criticizing you. This is not a good time for you, a good era. I feel like after this, you need to just disappear for a while. And then maybe then you can come back and people will love you again. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that people are hating on Katy Perry as she's out here playing the victim when quiet as it's kept, you kind of brought all this upon yourself, especially with this rollout of lifetimes. And then when people seeing the tour online, they're like, this is what you're giving? Like, y'all really expected us to spend this type of money? And tickets are expensive for concerts. Y'all really expected us to come in and spend this money on No, I'm not doing it. Get somebody else. I'm going to go see somebody else. I'm not spending my good coins, especially when people are struggling out here, to come see some mid-ass performance. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You say you sent me a link. First of all, you know what? I had an issue with my damn phone earlier. It's like my thing would not work. Like my charger. Glad I had another adapter piece. How the hell you find him that quick? He said, Cleveland, I'm about to say your government, was about to basically sent me who the kid was, that was the Cowboy Carter tour that wore that outfit. I was like, who that? Find out who it is. His name is Frank Puentes. I was going to say Franklin Fuentes, who wasn't he a DJ or something or another, or was like on a bitch track or something or another. But yeah, so it was like, damn, you were done sent me that. You found him. Well, thank you kindly. The guy in the cute Cowboy Carter outfit. No, I didn't even read that part. But I was like, I opened it up and I figured out who it was immediately. The Scott Fitzheaven act and the Drown World Tour is also more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Katy said a whole lot of nothing when all she had to do was not work with the puke. Okay? Between Meghan Markle and Katy Perry, the press is saying which one deserves a global hate. Yeah, people be going in. Is it me or is it? I just don't get the overall hate for Meghan Markle. Like, maybe because I don't pay attention to all the royal family stuff, but I've been noticing, like, especially in the media, they go hard, especially British media. I ain't never seen nobody go as hard on Meghan Markle than the British media. But I don't know, like, why is she getting so much hate? I don't really hear her talk or nothing. So I don't even know what it is. Maybe she is a bitch behind the scenes, but I don't know. There was this twink that went viral for saying he loved being a twink that could fit in a woman's 25 waist jeans. They called him misogynist. How are you gonna call him misogynistic for saying that he likes being able to fit in, a pair of woman's jeans that's 25 inches in the waist? If you got a small waist, well, look, quiet as it's kept, his waist is smaller than Violet Chachki's. Because have you seen her lately? You're talking about big, bleach blonde, bad built, butch body? That's what he giving. Except he don't have the blonde hair. We don't get to that story later. Good or conventionally attractive. He said, I just checked and that outfit wasn't even for the child. Not you out here recycling outfits. He was out here recycling outfits. You wore somewhere else and thought nobody was going to clock it. And you went to Cowboy Carter. Wait. Oh, so what you saying is, because I read that wrong. You said, oh, he didn't recycle it. The fact of the matter was he wore it on the 20th of January somewhere else, and people are basically saying that he wore it to the Cowboy Carter tour when that wasn't even where he wore it. So how people out here making whole stories and lies about this kid? Well, then again, Queerty don't know. They're going by what they see on social media, and they just write a story around it. But then again, you should do your due diligence and check the date on when the photo and all that other stuff was posted. Because my thing is, like, if he wore that somewhere else and didn't wear it to the Cowboy Carter tour and didn't even go to the Cowboy Carter tour, then. But I'm like, do you even know you've gone viral? Because the people out here talking about you might want to clarify that. All right, then let's get some good news because all the other stuff was shady news. So earlier it was announced Lorde had taken to social media to announce that she has a new album coming out this year, which I think we kind of all pretty much knew that this was going to happen. So yeah, she did release a new song a couple of days ago. I absolutely am obsessed with it. I have been listening to it. I've had it on repeat since the song dropped. I am pissed that I was not at Washington Square. And here's the thing, I live in New York and I've frequented Washington Square Park. And I did not know until the next day that she came and she performed. Well, she was recording her music video at the same time as well, but You know. So apparently the new album is being called Virgin, and it drops on June 27th via Republic. So now on June 27th, Virgin is described by Lorde as 100% written in blood. Now these details, along with the cover art of the LP, were shared on Lorde's website on Wednesday morning. The album artwork is a blue-tinted X-ray of a pelvis with a zipper going down in the middle, a belt buckle in the center, and the outline of an IUD. Now, if that ain't controversial. Like, girl, why you show us a IUD? SIS, IUD, stay in school. Because it's the best. Shout out to my girl Peaches. You know what? I need a new album for Peaches, by the way. I love me some Peaches. But anyway, so yeah, that's the album cover. I don't know. As minute I hear IUD, that's the first thing that pops in my But yeah, so yeah, that's the album cover. I'm like, this is interesting, but I'm definitely looking forward to listening to the album. If it sounds anything like that first single, bitch, trust and believe, Chris is going to be listening to the album. What was that? I just love that damn song. Now, the record was written with Grammy Producer of the Year, Dan Nigro, who is working with everybody. And here's the thing that I love about Dan Nigro. So this is why I got him on my radar. When he produces, it doesn't sound like, and this is one of the things that it's always irritate me about other producers in the past. When you listen to someone's song, it's like when they say Dan Nigro producer, I would have never guessed, because I'd be like, wait, what? When you listen to Chapel Roan, when you listen to Olivia Rodrigo, and then when you listen to Lorde, all their songs sound vastly different from each other. So when I'm listening to them, I'm like, I would have never guessed that Dan Nigro produced this new album, or that she wrote songs with him. I would have never guessed that, because it all sounds like he is a producer who caters to what the artist is looking for, rather than, oh, I want to sound or for example, like Lorde going and say, oh, I want a song that sounds like Chapel Roan, but just add this. Like, no, I don't want to sound like them. I want my own. I have my own identity. I have my own ideas. I want to work with that producer because I like what he did, but I don't want to sound like what that artist did. And I think that's where the mistake goes. Too many artists was doing it, especially when I was, my generation coming up and stuff, where it was like, oh, if you work with Rich Harrison, who started out with A. Marie, then they like that sound. So now Beyonce got to work with him. And now J-Lo got to work with him. And then all of a sudden, they all have that sound that A. Marie ushered in. And now the sound has kind of come and went like a wet fart, rather than you actually being that producer that could last about as long as a Pharrell. Because Pharrell's still making music. I ain't going to say Timbaland, because Timbaland kind of like, his sound kind of like is dated now. But Pharrell, he constantly evolves his sound and changes it up to the artist, not trying to sound like, regurgitating what has already made him a big thing. So in addition to Dan Nigro, she's also worked with Blood Orange's Devontae Hines, or some people just say Dev Hines, Fabiana Palladino, Andrew Aged, and Buddy Ross. Now on Apple Music, the album appears to have 11 tracks, including her. Oh damn! I didn't even set the pre thing on my. I got to do that right after. So I got to add it to my library. So the album appears to have 11 tracks, including her latest single, What Was That? Now, Virgin is produced by Lorde and Jim E. Stack, who has worked on as a solo artist and producer on music for Bon Iver, Gracie Abrams, Caroline Polachek, who I actually like Caroline Polachek, and more. The collection of songs was mixed by, of course, Spike Stent, who is one of the best mixers in the business. Spike Stent, I believe, also did he's mixed a lot for Madonna, but he's also mixed for FKA Twigs, I think her Usexual album, and Tom Elmhurst, who was mastered by Chris Geringer. So there's a lot of big names that she had on there. Now, you already know that she promoted the single, What Was That, at a fan event at Washington Square Park, which also was masked as a music video, in New York on April 23rd, where she premiered the song on speakers with assistance from Hines, and sang and danced along with fans. The song's music video is stitched together using clips of Lorde and her fans at the pop-up appearance. So I love that, because it was like, it probably cost her nothing to make that music video. So that was another thing that I thought was pretty awesome about that too. It's like, yeah, just get an iPhone, start filming. I put the headphones on so that way I hear the music and go along with it. You just record it and we'll just match up the stuff later on. We when we edit the video together. It's so much easier to make videos now and just save money. And to me, I feel like the video, what she did is way more effective than spending thousands of dollars or millions of dollars for some sequences for some crazy ass video that will be here and forgotten in hours. Because, once you've seen stuff, people are quick to move on from it. And then, the last time we saw Lorde, she was at Coachella where she performed with Charlie XCX on, they did Girl So Confusing, which I guess was all expected. So yeah, so that's that on this story. So I ask all of you, what do you guys think of this story? Are you a fan, or my Lorde fans? Are you excited for this new era? This is album number 4, and it's coming in June. So that's like right around the corner, because look, May is tomorrow. So, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. I almost forgot. It's like, yeah, May is tomorrow. So it's about a month and some change away. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from you also. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. She said, I don't like the new song, but she did say it was the most accessible song on the album. So I'm sure the rest of the album is better. Yes, Peaches, I love it when you talk about yeah, I was like, all of a sudden I went into that little rap. I was like, oh, why that pop in my head? The album cover is also my least favorite out of all 4. But yeah, why are you posting a picture of your insides with an IUD up in it? Is this supposed to be about your vagina? I mean, you did say it was written in blood. I actually liked the third album that everyone called the flop. What was that, Melodrama? Why would people call? Well, I don't know. I guess maybe enough people wasn't talking about it. All right, y'all. So now let's move on and let's talk about Mary, because there's a big lawsuit that is going around about Miss Mary J. Blige. She is being sued by Misa Hylton, who I know they were like best friends for like, how long Mary been making music? Almost 4 decades? Because Mary came out in 93. Yeah, give or take. Well, over 30 years. So they've been together for a long time. Misa, for those who aren't familiar with her, she is somebody who actually, well, she was the ex of Diddy. They have a child together, Justin Combs. And when Mary was coming up, Misa was actually her stylist. So she came up with like the whole ghetto fabulous look, which people call it that, was like the fur coats, the jeans with the thigh high boots, or like that was very New York with a lot of those looks. So she kind of brought like that. You would dress down, but you also would put a little glam up in it and stuff. So, and then when you see Mary still to this day with them thigh high boots and all the other stuff, so yeah, that was Misa. Misa helped come up with Mary's look. So apparently they've allowed for what some are saying some pain to come between them, because they think what happened between why Misa and Mary might be fighting and this lawsuit is $5 million is because Vado is his name. I said Vito. Vado apparently may have been laying pipe on both these ladies. So it might be allegedly. That's what a lot of people, the streets, are saying that. So now, in court documents obtained by All Hip Hop, so shout out to them, Misa alleges that MJB has attempted to sabotage her business relationship with Vado via her MISA management company, saying that Blige's company, Beautiful Eye Productions, interfered with Vado and Hylton's signed management agreement, which would entitle her agency to 20% of the rapper's earnings. Hylton believes Blige used her influence to isolate Vado and steer him away from the contract. Now, documents claim that Blige attempted to persuade Vado to break his management agreement with Hylton during private yacht gatherings, hotel meetings, and exclusive event. Now, why is this giving Diddy tease? Why is this giving Diddy tease? But then again, Diddy was her brother, right? That's what she used to call him. When she would get into a situation where it was just like, when Mary was going through some things, she was letting Diddy chirp in her ear, especially when she was going through her bankruptcy. Like, I just don't trust anything about Diddy and him being attached to her. But I think that Mary felt some type of undying loyalty to him. But I don't really think that Diddy had her best interest at heart anyway. So now, They said when Misa and her MISA management representatives were present, it also was saying that, whenever they went on these private yacht gatherings, hotel meetings, exclusive events, all that other stuff. Damn, I really wish I would have thought about pulling up the video of Votto, but where he was first, he brought all of this to light. That's how we all heard about it. And they said, and then he was sitting there talking about how he felt that Mary was sabotaging his record and all that other stuff. But she did do an interview where she was singing the boy praises. I might have that clip too. I do. Hold on. But I said, let me pull that up for y'all. She was talking to Big Tigger about it. But I'll pull that up in a second while I try to read y'all the rest of this situation. So, yeah, after the whole thing of Misa was saying that nobody within her management situation were present while these meetings was going on. They also said that it alleges that Blige's head security guard, described as her boyfriend, also wanted to sign Votto and told him he would lose out on opportunities if he stayed with MISA. Well, first of all, what the hell does a bodyguard know about the music business? I know the only thing your job is to secure my ass and make sure that nothing happens to it. But I'm not signing with no security guard. And here's the thing, too. I was going to be like, well, why would you sign with Mary? Like, I understand Mary is this big icon. She is a legend in the music business. But I'm not signing to nobody who has never signed no artist before. And I know, some people will look at her as being like, Mary's name goes a long way. She knows a lot of people. She can get me through a lot of doors that just some regular person probably couldn't do. Or, they'll probably string me along because I'm in the, because, I'm just some regular artist and this is just business or whatever the case is. But if I go with Mary knows people. Mary can get things moving a lot quicker. So I could understand why he would think, okay, I'm going to sign with her. But nothing was happening with his music. So he signed with MISA Management on July 25th, 2023, and later signed with Beautiful Light Productions on October 1st, 2023. Paperwork claims that in private messages, Blige said that she would not release Votto's album, which he completed by July 2024, or allow him to tour as long as he stayed with MISA. So how's he supposed to make the money back that he's probably most likely borrowing to have this record made if you're not going to have him out here trying to make his coins? Like he has to be able to tour, because tour merchandise, that's where the artists make their money. So now you sit on my record that's never going to see the light of day, and then I'm trying to get out there and promote and perform, and I can't do it. So you actually prevented me from doing that. It's these damn games. This is why I keep telling you I go independent. Because I know it's harder, but the way that these people, with their pettiness and the things that they do when they get mad, And meanwhile, Mary out here giving a bare damn minimum when she performed. I'm sure y'all seen this video that went live where she out here doing it. Like, audience, like y'all from this and I'm going there. No, she needed to put that mic to her mouth and start singing. Looking like Lorde. And yes, when I worked her show, she was doing the same damn thing. So and here's the thing, it's cute or whatever, I get it. That is like, yeah, we want audience participation, blah, blah, blah. But I ain't paid to hear all these people up in here trying to do karaoke. I came here to see the artists sing. Now, if y'all want to sing along, that's cute. But why you point? And she did it many a times on this tour, pointing the mic out to the audience, having people sing, which was kind of annoying, too. But yeah, so I do have this clip of Big Tigger where she was talking about Votto, for those people who aren't really familiar with who he is, where they basically talked about this whole situation. So hold on, let me pull that up, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Votto thing evolved.
Well, Votto's been popping for years, and it's just his time. It's his time, and we're family, He's
Here we go with
his
YouTube.
friend, and he's my friend, and we're all friends,
Right.
And we could be
we're
friends.
family. When we're family, we all listen to each other's stuff and listening to his, paying attention to him the way I started paying attention to him.
Okay, this is annoying because I don't understand why the YouTube videos always, for some reason, just be doing that. I don't know. A lot lately, the YouTube's been acting up. So yeah, so now they're basically saying they're seeking $5 million in damages for breach of contract, emotional distress, and interference with business relationships. And then I heard that Misa also was saying that she was trying to talk to Mary behind the scenes, getting in touch with her team, that sort of thing, to work everything out. And Mary's kind of just been, I guess, she said that Mary, I think she's been busy, which she has been. She's touring right now. But if that's what's happening, at least make sure that your people that are working behind the scenes or whatever is handling the situation, or your attorney is handling the situation, or not even get into the attorney part in the, at that point. Before it gets to the point of we got to get attorneys involved and I got to file lawsuits and all this other stuff, y'all should be handling y'all business. And to be like, you know what, I need you to handle this because I'm focusing on the tour right now. So let's deal with what we got to deal with when it comes to this artist. But apparently that's not what they did. This is where we are. Unfortunately, it's like this is decades of friendship now dismantled because Mary out here doing what she's doing. Misa feels like she's slighted. And now I'm losing out on a lot of money on this artist because if he don't work, I don't get paid. And you sitting there sitting on his record. So this kid thinking like he's about to get his big break and he's about to make something, be somebody. And you giving him the opportunity, but it's like you locked him up in a situation. And this is like many of the horror stories that so many artists have to deal with. It's like you just want to live your dream and be an artist, but because you got whatever kind of petty thing that's going on, now they got to suffer. So there you have it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of what's going on with Mary and Misa? This is sad because it's like, damn, this is decades of friendship now that is done because y'all allowed business to affect y'all friendship. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I said, before I get to the comments, we close all this stuff. Oh, you said Solar Power. Why do I not remember Solar Power? Maybe because I listened to it once and then I just discarded it. So yeah, I don't remember that record. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about the Diddler. Because we were just talking about his ex, so now we got the latest, and now we got to talk about him and his other ex. And that ex will be Cassie, because it looks like when the trial begins in probably like a week, he's gonna be there. They said that that little video that we saw that went viral all over the place, that I think CNN had access to and released, that it will be admitted in court, where it showed him kicking and hitting one of his exes, well, one of his accusers, I should say, in the hallway of the hotel. And this was ruled at a recent hearing. So they said the footage will be presented to a jury in his upcoming federal trial. Now, a judge ruled against Combs' efforts to suppress the 2016 hotel video, ensuring that it will become a centerpiece of the proceedings. Well, duh. Because my thing is, it plays into a lot of the stuff you were doing, the trafficking and all that other stuff. So yeah, of course it's going to be admitted in court. Now, jury selection is scheduled to begin on May 5th with opening statements set for May 12th. Now, Combs and his legal team fought to block the footage, arguing it was misleading and prejudicial. Their attempts, however, fell flat when Judge Aaron Subramanian ruled that the concerns over the video's clarity could be addressed using expert technology, because they were trying to say they doctored the footage and all that stuff, which I don't believe at all. Prosecutors confirmed a forensic video specialist had reviewed the recording to verify its authenticity. CNN, which first aired the footage in early 2024, also reaffirmed it had not altered the video in any way. A network spokesperson stated the original copy remains intact and was securely preserved by the source. So yeah, there was nobody editing that. Just like, well, I was about to go back and say the Chachki thing again, because she said her video was edited. So now, in a revealing moment during a court hearing, Combs' lead attorney Mark Agnafilo framed the music mogul's actions as part of a consensual swinger lifestyle rather than predatory behavior. Well, I don't know many swingers that run down the hallway in a nothing but a towel and a dad bod trying to run after his girlfriend, who's literally trying to leave the hotel with no shoes on and what she has on the clothes on her back. Like literally, she was giving Tina running out the hotel after she got tired of Ike beating her ass and ran across from traffic trying to get away from that man. That's what literally Cassie was given in that scene that we saw in the video. And you running down the hallway butt ass naked trying to get her to come back in the room because you didn't want her to leave you. So I ain't never heard nobody swinging like that. And I know swingers, but they don't be swinging where they be swinging their hands on another person because you acting like they're your property. So y'all, whatever way y'all trying to swing it, sorry, Diddy, it's not going to work. Like you literally are not, you're not getting out of jail. And I'm sorry, but it's just, y'all try to swing this any other way. I really feel like you have gotten away with stuff for so long in your life. There's no way that your legal team can dig you out of this mess. Maybe in the past, yes, you were able to finagle your way out of things. This is different now. I feel like the chickens have come home to roost. And now, whatever the roosters, however that sound they make, you better get to roosting. So, I feel like this is the win for Cassie. Cassie is expected to testify I don't know when, but I heard that she is set to testify in this trial. So even if you don't admit this stuff, she still is going to be testifying. I heard she is pregnant. I hope she had the baby already, because if she didn't, I was like, I don't want to. You got a woman dealing with a lot of stress, having to deal with this man and the nightmare he put her through, and she's with child. So I will definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. And no, I have not heard anything about Austin Wolf, because I was looking. I was like, wait a minute, it's the 30th of April, and I haven't heard anything regarding his case. I guess I'm gonna have to look a little harder, because this is the latest. What's the tea? Because he's also in the same prison as the diddler. So, and we already got Luigi Mangione, who's also in that prison, pleaded not guilty and said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to trial. And I said to everybody, good luck trying to find anybody that hasn't been affected by the medical insurance companies in America that's going to be on that jury and convict him and sentence that boy to death. I'll wait. He gonna get off like Kyle Rittenhouse. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are, let me know. Except Kyle Rittenhouse is an asshole and should be in jail. Whereas Luigi Mangione, I understood why you did what you did, allegedly. But they do say the eyebrows don't match. So if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. We need a rhyme to go with the whole, if the eyebrows don't match, you must have a snatch. No, I'm just playing. So anyway, so let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Penumbrio said, this is crazy levels of narcissism. He thinks he can get away with because he's gotten away with stuff all of his career. So of course they're going to try to pull the things. But I just feel like this time there's evidence. There's things that really put you, that is looking bad for him. So I don't know. Before he was able to get away with it, even down to the pow in the club with that woman, and where Jennifer Lopez and him got locked up and had to do the mug shots. You're not getting away with it. You really are. You going down, Diddy. Sorry. I was just about to ask about funny. I don't know, because it was like they're all in the same damn detention center. So I was like, let me bring them up. Free Luigi. All right, y'all. So now from one problematic person to another, let's talk about Kanye. So I don't know if y'all heard, but Donda 2 apparently is out. It's on Apple Music. I don't know how long, because every time when it come down to Kanye putting out music, it ends up on a streaming platform, and then next thing you know, they done took it down. But it seemed like he got way more bigger fish to fry, because producers who worked on Donda 2 are basically threatening to take down the music. So I don't even think it's going to have to be because if you want to run around here dressing like a damn Klansman, a black Klansman, which funny enough, he has a song called Black Klansman. But you want to come out here literally dressed like one, and then they take your stuff down, you make the anti-Semitic stuff. But now it's like, look, he got to worry about these producers who talking about they want to take his music down because they have yet to be paid just to lay up in the shade, drinking a glass of lemonade. Shout out to Lil' Kim. Um, it said that they're threatening to take down his the music because they ain't get paid. So according to TMZ, they said Kanye West, aka Ye, I'm not calling him no damn Ye. That sounds so damn stupid. His name is Kanye. Finally released his long lost Donda 2 album as promised, but fans better grab the tracks while supplies last. A couple producers want the album snatched down over non-payment. So on Wednesday, that would be today, Kanye revealed that his longtime associate DeAndre Free Maiden, who manages and produces Jamal Buggs the Beast, G-Win, and Brian All Day Miller, were pissed that they had never been paid for a whopping 8 songs on Donda 2, and the album would be wiped from the streaming service. Well, here's the thing. I don't know why y'all continue to work with this clown. Number one, he don't never pay nobody. How many stories have we heard over the years where Kanye don't pay for things that he uses up your time and things and don't want to pay y'all. But he talking about he a billionaire. So then paid him. So yeah, they put out this screenshot that I'm showing y'all where he was trying to say Free Maiden trying to charge me $3 million for these beats from people I showed how to make beats too. Now he going to take down Donda too. Okay. Well, yeah, if you ain't paid him, then yes, you need to take it down. And it's funny how he goes and says, I showed y'all how to make a beat. Well, if that's the case, then why don't you produce your own record? Why do you need people to give you beats? It's like, yeah, you thinking that this was a freebie? This was a favor? I was like, yeah, I pay you to make. I mean, I showed you how to make the beat, so therefore, you make a beat for me. I shouldn't have to pay you. These people got to eat. You get to sit up around and flying around the world with all your shenanigans, but you don't want to pay people for their time and their work. So yeah, so they said, and you can see it on the left, it says, we did not and do not consent to the usage of any of our work for Donda 2 or any Gaye project. He showed us $ for almost 3 years now, has refused to pay, yet keeps stealing our work. The unauthorized Donda 2 songs are, and this is from Books, he said, We Did It, 530, Lord Lift, and City of God. Brian did Broken Road, Get Lost, Too Easy, and First Time. The lawyers are getting this taken down within the hour. So I don't know. Oh yeah, well look, I'm looking at the thing now. Apparently, it is still up from what I see. So who knows? Probably by tomorrow, it won't be up anymore. So look, they've been collaborating with Diddy. They've been collaborating with Kanye for years, and he's been teasing this record for 3 years, and now it's out. And I think that they said that this is the album that he held a listening event for at a Lone Depot Park in Miami, where it was a bunch of celebrities and stuff that showed up. I totally forgot about that album. So they said the album was originally intended to be released on his STEM player device before those plans got scrapped. But Buggs and Brian weren't the first producers to complain about being shafted. And that's why I was like, I'm not feeling no way tired about this, because I'm like, there's been many people in the past who have complained about Kanye not paying them for their services. Yeah, y'all continue to work with this man. I don't think y'all do it for name recognition. Y'all just want to go around and have name recognition bragging rights. Y'all just want to be able to say, oh, yeah, I work with Kanye. But if the man ain't paying up or paying you, stop giving him y'all stuff. So all you producers in the future, stop working with him. He's a clown. So y'all kind of gave us no good damn music in years. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of you have some producers that worked on some music complaining that Kanye ain't been paying up. They ain't received any compensation for working with him. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Think AW still looks the same without her. That'd be a good question. I would be curious to see what he looks like now. Hopefully, when he starts going to trial and things of that nature, that somebody will be able to snap a photo or something. Okay, let's see where we're going. All right, let's get into this Mel B story, because it is getting messy out here in these streets with her man and her ex. So, but there's some good news for her, because it looks like things are looking up for her, because they said that she won her motion to pause the discovery proceedings in her legal battle with her ex-husband, Stephen Belafonte, who y'all probably have heard over the years that she has said that he is physically abused her and things of that nature. And I think at one point people said that they were swingers, but we all know that Mel. I'm trying to. I don't know if I don't want to put an identity, a label, or whatever on her, but we know. I'll just say she's fluid. She likes the girls and she likes the men. So she's always been open about her fluidity when it comes to sex. So now she pleaded with the federal judge to press pause on her turning over bank records and answering questions about drugs as part of the $5 million court battle with her ex-husband, Stephen Belafonte. And this is according to In Touch, by the way. Now, according to court documents obtained by In Touch, Mel B, who's 49, asked that she not be forced to produce the requested documents and information that Stephen requested until a decision is made on her motion to dismiss the lawsuit. The singer said Stephen sent over a list of documents he wants her to produce and questions he wants her to answer. She said the requests include demands for sensitive financial records dating back 18 or more years. Well, why do you need to know all of that? Ain't none of your damn business. On top of that, he also asked for a list of every Amazon purchase she made or directed others to make for 10 years beginning in 2007. Now, here's a gag. Who the hell keeps track of all of that? I don't. You think I'm sitting there keeping track of what I bought on Amazon a decade ago? Like, anybody got time for that? Now, Stephen also asked Mel to turn over any communications with third parties related to her claims he physically abused her or SA'd her. He also asked for notes related to her memoir, profit, and income for her book sales, and certain documents concerning Mel's bank account, credit card statements, and other financial information from 2007 to 2017. Stephen also asked Mel to identify all rounds with hugs you took from 2007 to 2017, including illicit hugs, regardless of whether the hugs were prescribed by a doctor. Mel's lawyer argued while proceeding to discover in this case would occasion significant. I think. Oh, okay. I was like, why am I not being able to compute that? Okay, it said while proceeding to discovery, in this case would occasion significant cost, a temporary stay will produce virtually no harm. The best evidence for that fact is that Stephen himself has shown little urgency in either initiating suit or prosecuting the case he brought. Now, on April 3rd, the judge granted Mel's motion to stay discovery in the case until a decision is made on her request to dismiss the entire case completely. Now, as In Touch previously reported, Stephen sued the Spice Girls star for allegedly spreading lies that he abused her during their marriage, but lasted from 2007 to 2017. He accused her of falsely accusing him of crimes and horrific offenses, including physical beatings, the R word, financial abuse, emotional abuse, ass trafficking, and illegal gun possession. I forgot to mention pow possession. You know, with these YouTube and these algorithms, it's a workout within itself to try to curb the things that you say. So that way it doesn't affect your monetization. So Stephen's suit read from lying to the courts and the public about Stephen putting paws on her, causing a split lip and swollen face. So where the hell did all that come from if he ain't do all of that then? Who did it? The wall? It said Mel has been profiting off of her public lies as she portrays Stephen as a monster on global television and media appearances. And, you know, she's done a lot of the talk shows and stuff talking about it too. I think, what was it, like a couple of months ago, I remember she was on The View. The only two people that I know that have gone on The View from the Spice Girls, like within the last 6 months, would be Mel B and most recently Jerry Horner, because she went and promoted her new children's book that she has. So Mel's lawyer said, and I think that was like last month when she went on. Now, Mel's lawyer said his client escaped Stephen all-encompassing grip on her life with the help of the courts. And after the couple divorced in 2017, Mel voted herself to protecting vulnerable women around the globe using the most powerful tool available to her, the same one that made her a star, her voice. Mel, who is a citizen of the UK, also argued that she has no ties to Florida, where Stephen filed his lawsuit. So the case is ongoing. I'm sorry, but I believe Mel. Stephen out here looking a hot mess. I just think he just don't like the way his reputation has gone. But that's what happens when you mess with a celebrity. And look where you are now. Now you're in a situation where it's like You worrying about your reputation. Your reputation already shot. Quiet as escape. I don't even know who this man was before he got with her and after. So you with this case, I don't think you have one. I think Mel's getting away with it. Getting away with it. It makes it sound like that she's guilty of something. But it's like, I don't see like, I think that this case is just going to get dismissed. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. But of course, with him being in Florida, why would I be surprised if they would come up with something this dumb? All right, so oh wait, I was like, oh wait, I closed out my folder for a second. I was like, chill, I'm about to mess up my show. But anyway, I saw this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of the latest on Mel B's relationship with her husband and this $5 million crazy lawsuit that's going on, where he's saying that she basically has ruined his reputation, and now he's suing her for $5 million, which I don't think he'll get. And look, she out here busy on America's Got Talent and doing all her other stuff, because the Spice Girls ain't making music no more, so make that TV coin, sis. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And I was like, here we go with this crap over there from Twitch. All right, y'all, let's move on. Oh, let me do that over, because I was like, let me take this picture out. Forgot to do that. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Terrence Howard out here being a hot ass homophobic mess, because he did an interview with Bill Maher, who Bill Maher out here being a whole clown with his recent, I'm going to go to the White House and I'm going to visit the president. After it was a couple of years ago when Trump first became president, he had Geraldo Rivera on his show, and he dragged Geraldo Rivera because Geraldo was like, he's my friend. I'm not going to be overly critical and so on and so forth. He's like, who gives a shit that he's your friend? The fact of the matter is, if you messing up the country, you should be able to openly challenge him on the things that he's doing. I mean, that's the position that you're in, especially if you're going to be talking, if you're a pundit on TV and you're talking politics. If someone in politics is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, then why we can't call them out on it? And now fast forward to 2025 and you have him hobnobbing at the White House with the president of the United States and trying to change his tune and did a whole 12-minute monologue on some bullshit. And then we had Larry David recently did an op-ed, didn't even mention his name, said he had dinner with Hitler. And then all of a sudden, now you got Bill Maher out here, hit hollering dog, all upset because he got his little feelings hurt by Larry David. Because you can't handle Larry David in real life. So we had to go on Piers Morgan and they had to do that little woe is me, whiny little monologue thingy that they were doing. Then you had Piers Morgan, long head ass up there co-signing. He another fool. Idiot. That's the word I wanted to say, so I'm going to just say it. So now, speaking of idiots, now we're going to talk about Terrence Howard, who went on Bill Maher's podcast, not Real Time with Bill Maher. Here's another podcast that he does. I hear things about it, but I just can't bring myself to watch that. Just like I can't even bring myself to watch Real Time with Bill Maher. And I used to be a Bill Maher fan. I used to love Real Time with Bill Maher. And before that, I used to love Politically Incorrect before they ended up firing him on ABC, and then he ended up going to HBO. So I was a Bill Maher fan, but then when he started becoming a cuck for the Republicans, and now all of them is trying to jump up in there, and I want to get an invite too. Now we got Cenk Uygur doing the same damn thing. Like they're all up in here lying and grifting and all that other mess. But that's neither here nor there, because now I'm just bring it back so I don't go on my political rant, because y'all know how I get. But so he recently started talking about Marvin Gaye. And he said that I guess he heard the last name Gaye and thought, oh no, I don't want to play no homosexual. That's his last name. But apparently he just ran out here and said that Quincy Jones told him that Marvin Gaye was gay. So Terrence Howard almost started, apparently I didn't know this, that he almost started a biopic of legendary soul singer Marvin Gaye. Because all I remember hearing was, wait, was it Tyrese that was trying to play Marvin Gaye, or was that Usher? Or was it Teddy Pendergrass? I think Tyrese wanted to play. But I do remember, I could have sworn I heard something or another that Usher was up for playing Marvin Gaye. But he said that the reason why he didn't do it, and this is what he admitted on Mars Club Random podcast, he said that the biggest mistake of his career was turning down the starring role in a Smokey Robinson biopic, a role the musician personally asked him to play. And here's the thing. That I could definitely see you playing because y'all favor each other. Y'all got the same complexion. Y'all got the same kind of like I don't know what his eyes are. I don't know if they're green or they're hazel or whatever the case is, but y'all kind of favor each other. So I could definitely see Terrence Howard playing Smokey Robinson over Marvin Gaye. You ain't dark enough to play no Marvin Gaye. But I guess maybe because he was a big name at the time, he thought he could play him. I don't see it. I can see somebody like Yahya Abdul-Mateen II playing Marvin Gaye before I see you playing him. Or maybe even Mahershala Ali. I could see him playing Marvin Gaye over you. So now he went and said he turned Robinson down because he was already in conversation with Lee Daniels about playing Marvin Gaye in a different biopic. Okay, so now that makes sense because Lee Daniels was behind it. And you know what Lee Daniels gives in a lot of his content. So Barr supported Howard's decision, adding that Gaye's life story was much more interesting. He went on to say that Howard would have been perfect as Marvin Gaye, and that is a story that needs to be told. However, Howard ended up missing out on the Gaye biopic as well. The Empire star said he passed on the project after he found out about Gaye's sexuality from another music great, Quincy Jones. He said, quote, I was over at Quincy Jones's house and I'm asking Quincy, I'm hearing rumors that Marvin was gay. And I'm like, was he gay? Howard explained. And Quincy was like, yes. Now, after the revelation, Howard described he could not star in the movie. He said, quote, they would want me to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that, he said, of portraying a gay man in a movie, or as I like to say, a homosexual. So yeah, he didn't want to play a gay. And then so Mark went on to ask, you mean you couldn't kiss a guy on screen in a movie? And he responded, no, because I don't fake it. Sir, you know, as an actor, your whole job is to pretend on camera and make money doing it. Like your whole job is acting. Acting is pretending. So what the fuck are you talking about? I couldn't pretend. I can't fake it. Then why are you an actor? You pretend to be drug dealers and freaking pimps? It's hard out here for a pimp, remember? When you're struggling to pay your mother fucking rent. If that's the lyrics, you know. If it's not, I made it up. So now, he said, that would F me. I would cut my lips off if I kiss a man. I would cut my lips off. Now he decided to go a little bootsy with it when he said that. So then Mars said he wouldn't go as far as Howard, but understands why he would be uncomfortable. Howard then said, it does not make me homophobic to not want to kiss a man. I can't play that character 100%. I can't surrender myself to a place that I don't understand. Well, people could explain it to you, but I realize that you are who you are. You are set in your ways. It is what it is. And here's the thing. I don't think that kissing a man, refusing to kiss a man makes you homophobic. If that's something you're uncomfortable with, if that's something you don't want to do, that's fine. It's the same thing how Winston Cruz had to read your ass because you was out here making it seem like being with another man or performing and playing gay or whatever makes you less than a man. And that seems to be the overall theme with you. It's rooted in homophobia and misogyny. The way you respond to refusing to want to kiss a man or why you did it. If you don't want to kiss a man, don't kiss a man. Nobody got a gun in your head and telling you to do it. But the extra stuff you decide to throw on it, the extra seasoning, when the meat is salty enough, you add a little more salt on it. It's like, I would cut my lips off. All that was unnecessary. You ain't had to add all the extra stuff on it. You just trying to be extra for the sake of being extra. You trying to be an asshole because that's always been kind of your reputation. And which baffles me is how this ninja did Empire for as long as he did Empire. No, full on well, you was dealing with a homosexual that created the show. That would be Lee Daniels. That was behind working with the show. You had a whole homosexual playing your son. And then you had another one, Yaz, who went on to do an OF with men. I don't know if he always had them tendencies of wanting to be with men and things of that nature, but he's out here doing same-sex OnlyFans OF content. That's, Brashear Gray. So you've been in the proximity of the gays. But now, because your ass can't get a job nowhere, nobody want to mess with you in Hollywood. Now you coming out with all this stuff and going on all these right-wing podcasts or people who are in like 6 degrees of Donald Trump type, podcasts to spew your BS, because those are the only places that they're going to allow you to go off and run off at your mouth. So I feel like, Terrence, you need to focus a little more on keeping yourself from putting paws on the women you get in relationships with. Because look, I found that story back in like the year 2000. They said the actor's rap sheet has included multiple charges of assault, including on his ex-wife, and less on what men are doing to get ahead of Hollywood. If somebody want to go up in there and bring their knee pads to the meeting and slob the knob of that exec so he can get that big A-list role, that's something he has to deal with. That ain't none of your business to be out here trying to put all this stuff out here. So he's insufferable in a hot ass mess. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Terrence Howard is talking about in regards to his, it just seems like you spewing a lot of your homophobia still and all other stuff. So while it is not make you homophobic if you don't want to kiss a man, that's not something you want to do. You don't have to do that. Nobody's forcing you to do something you don't want to do. But all the extra stuff you put on there, that was not necessary. And when you say that, I would cut my dick off if I had to kiss a man. And so you act like that's the worst thing in the world. But yet you play pimps and freaking drug dealers and all kinds of other stuff, black stereotypes, number one, on TV. So it's okay for you to play a stereotype. But gay is the ultimate nasty. That's the nastiest thing that can come up. That's the worst. That's like damn near unaliving somebody. That's how some of y'all think mentally in that context of trying to equate all of that. But whatever. Child, go outside and touch some goddamn grass. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. If he doesn't want to kiss a man, that's fine. But to act like he's taking a stand for something and moral for not doing it is get. Yeah, it's like it's not like you doing something inventive or creative. Okay, so you don't want to kiss a man. Okay. Nobody asked you to. Quiet as it's coming. Nobody trying to make out with your ass anyway. And the gays don't want your ass anyway. I mean, maybe back in the day when you was on Living Single in that era, maybe, because you was cute back then. But now it's like, He gives me like he comes in the room all sweaty. Like you've been doing a lot of lines in the bathroom before you come out and talk to the people. So that's the way you give it. That's what you give whenever I look at a Terrence Howard. With these recent homophobic rants of his, it makes me wonder if his scenes from Empire, like throwing that son in the trash, that's what I'm saying. Well, he said he can't fake it, right? So it probably did come from somewhere. And what does he really think of his gay coworkers? That's exactly what I was thinking. What do you think of, Jussie Smollett? What do you think of Lee Daniels and all these other people that you work with? I don't want to put Blige up in there because we don't necessarily know where his head was at while he was on the show. All we know of is he started doing the same-sex OF stuff recently. He wasn't doing that when he was on TV. Exactly. The homosexuals don't want him. Okay, y'all. So we have about 2 more topics left, and then we are done with today's show. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button, smash that note. Shoot, I almost forgot my commentary. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. There will also be timestamps put in at the end of the live so that way you can just follow along with the topics instead of just going through all the banter that we talk about on this here show during the live chat. So now without further ado, let's get into this RuPaul's Drag Race story because the girls are fighting. So apparently Chachki came out here showing her entire behind. And the Drag Race girls decided to go in and let have on what had happened and what the girls was talking about. So recently we reported that Lexi Love announced that she's taking an indefinite step back from drag. But it looked like that hiatus was a little short-lived because she jumped on the line and decided to throw a little shade at Chachki, who was recently at an event where I think it was like they were opening up some gay hotel out in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. There was a lot of celebrities there. Matt Rogers was there. I almost said Courtney Cox, Laverne Cox, T.S. Madison was there. So also Johnny Sibley. So all the whole Leland performed. I think, he performed. Also, I believe Got Mick and Violet Chachki DJ'd. So it was a big event of like the who's who in the upper echelon homosexual community of entertainment. They were all out there opening up this hotel. A friend of mine has also opened up, shout out to Daniel DCO. He's actually opened up a hotel and stuff out in Mexico too. But anyway, she was asked by Pride reporter Ricky Cornish about what she thought of the recently concluded 17th installment of the flagship franchise. And let's just say she didn't have any glowing responses as to what the response, in response to the situation. So I do have that clip. I want to basically show y'all what the clip is. And then we'll come back and we will talk. Please hold.
Did anyone serve on season 17?
Oh, I literally had no clue. Oh, I don't watch. Oh, no. And Mick keeps showing me clips and videos of things. I'm like,
Sue me.
stop showing me this garbage.
No, she literally does that to me.
I go, stop showing it to me.
Here's the part that's a little annoying to me when I watch that video. First of all, Ricky Cornish is fake as fuck, and I'm gonna tell you why. How you ask her the question, and if y'all notice, how you ask her the question right before she even goes, and even a sound comes out of her mouth. Like, how you doing all that? She ain't said a word. You laughing. He do that to every person that comes on that goddamn red carpet. It's like, can y'all be real when y'all on the carpet? And stop being an ass. So that shit irritates me. First of all, I used to hate doing red carpets. So doing all that other stuff, it's kind of phony and it's annoying, but I get it. You get invited to all these places. You're the twink and all the other stuff that gets invited to all the places. So your looks but your mid talent gets you very far. And we know that mediocrity within white folks is accessible, and y'all live for that. Work is what I'll say on that. However, like, can you at least let her say the thing a little bit? Like, you should have just kind of followed the lead of Got Mick, where Got Mick was like, she waited a couple of seconds before Violet said what she said and then laughed. You laughing the minute she even said a word. But anyway, other people who's not laughing, let's talk about them. So her comments didn't go very well with Lexi, who, made it all the way to the top 4 of season 17. And she wasn't the only one that spoke out. It was her, it was Corey King, it was Plain Jane, it was Lydia Butthole Collins, and Susie too. And so, damn, why did I just draw a blank? Lexi Love said the following. She said, "What a see you next Tuesday." I ain't saying a word, but y'all know what that is. Then Corey King shady behind posted this photo. Why she look like Kelly Mantle there? That's what she's giving with that. But she said, anyways, good morning, Kingdom. She also wanted to say, can y'all stop dragging Violet? He's a 32-year-old man entitled to his own opinion, but spell entitled wrong and put INTITLED. But then in the post underneath, she did correct it and put entitled with an E. And then somebody was like, I'm paraphrasing. They basically said that, oh, you can't convince us otherwise. Like, yeah, it is spelled with an I instead of an E. So they were all kikiing about that. And then Plain Jane said, no shade, but like T, alumni who are proudly dismissive like this in general don't impress me. No one's career is forever, babe. If people show respect to you, have the courtesy to show that same respect to bitches that came after. And then after that, I saw Candy Muse jump in the comments and said, sister, don't be upset because S16 sucked. And then put a heart emoji after it. And then Plain responded with an LMAO comment. So it was no hard feelings between them. They was all joking. Then another person said, no, because that take doesn't even deserve a proper response. And another person responded, and like, totally cool to be honest that you didn't have time, but maybe at least know a single day of a queen on the season. I don't know, as like interview prep. Well, she probably didn't know that question was coming. And also, some people do feel that season 17 was boring. Me, I thought it was all right. I was entertained by the drama and the shenanigans of it all, but I do think that show needs an overhaul. It needs a reworking. Like, y'all need to make the fan, like, get us a little more excited to get back into the show. But this picture is just homophobic, right? Looking at this photo of Violet, because, girl, you look a mess. But also, So yeah, Plain Jane said that, but then she also said this. She said, also Violet is fat now. Big fat Violet. You better spill plus size diva. Yes. Oh yeah, she do look like she put on a little weight. One of my friends said that before she went from being this, this burlesque diva to now looking literally like something out of Monty Python, where you see some of the men dressed up as women. Like she's giving that. Like she looks very brolic in this outfit, but it looks like you're still trying to do the whole little corset thing with the tiny waist. But I guess what happens when you get older and things of that nature, the body just don't be giving what it used to. And then Plain Jane continued and said, thin Violet, thin, skinny Violet, circulation, never cut off by those corsets. I take it all back, my slender queen. She's still going in. And then Ricky Cornish goes and says, Violet Chachki says the latest season of Drag Race was garbage. So people was getting also mad at him because they felt like, oh, here you go, trying to create something that she didn't say. But here's the thing. She claims that it was edited because I got the video of Violet responding, and we'll get to that in a second. So then she said, so Lydia Butthole Collins jumped in the comments and said, LMAO, she will always have a seat at my table. I'm sorry. And then Tootsie Scooter, because that's what she's going by now on Twitter, Susie2. This is killing me, LMFAO. So now, soon after the discourse of Twitter, Chachki did post a TikTok video clarifying that she has nothing but love and light for everyone and for everything that RuPaul has done for me and for the community. But not enough for the Drag Race girls. So yeah, hold on. Let me pull that TikTok video up, and then we'll come back and we'll talk.
I'm having like the most amazing time, so much love, so much light. I check my phone and I'm seeing that the press has twisted this weird ass narrative saying that I am calling something garbage that I've never even seen. How does that make any sense? I have nothing but love and light for everything that RuPaul's done for me and for the community and for the literal world. I'm eternally grateful for that. I literally cannot have an opinion on something I've never seen. Mick shows me videos of so many things that I don't want to see because I need my brain to be sharp and focused on things that I care about. Fierce cunt shit. That's it. I'm so sick of being misunderstood. I have nothing but love for every queer person in the world. And you guys should know that by now. So know that 100%. And mama, that's garbage, mama. I'm hearing.
Well, so yeah, basically what she's saying is I'm blaming it on the edit. Okay, Ru. Well, look, I do have, shout out to Pride, the full clip of what she said. So I will say this, the video was edited. And there was a piece that was taken out, but it doesn't make you sound vindicated in what you said. So since you want to talk about things was edited, since you want to blame it on the edit, let's play the full uncensored version of what was said, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Violet, you are amazing on the pit stop. You give us a lot of shady reads. Did anyone serve on season 17?
Oh, I literally had no clue. Oh, I don't watch. Oh, no. My brain is full of things already. I need to make space in my brain for things I care about. And Mick keeps showing me clips and videos of things. I'm like, stop showing me this garbage. I go, stop showing it to me. My brain is full. I need to save the space I have for sacred things.
So yeah, so with her saying that, what it pretty much does is I feel like with Ricky Cornish, with the phony laughing that he was doing, it does come across like Violet was being shady towards the Drag Race girls, but it was your delivery. And I think that people could take what you say out of context in any which way. What you should, but then you're probably going to be overcompensating. But I didn't mean it in this way where I'm saying like the girls are garbage, the show was garbage, but Mick shows me so much stuff. But when you say, yeah, you show me a bunch of garbage, it is kind of implying that you're saying season 17 was trash, that yeah, you don't care about the show, that you already won, you were already successful, so you don't care about what the other girls are doing on Drag Race, and you don't have time to kind of pay attention to what they're doing, lift a finger to help a fellow queen up and that sort of thing. So that's the way I feel like people are going to take what you say, and it is perceived as shade. So yeah, in the video, there was stuff, maybe for time or whatever, it was cut down or whatever, but from that whole video, I showed y'all the whole thing. There was pieces that, yes, were taken out. It was all about getting to the point, and this is why I always tell people, at the end of the day, it's about context. Stop chopping people's stuff down because y'all want a video to last like 2 seconds. In order to vindicate yourself in certain situations, keep all of it in. Ricky could have showed all of that, or they could have showed all that. Whoever edited it, well, I think he did, because it was on his damn Twitter. So if you're going to put something out there, show the whole thing. Don't sit up and cut up and chop it up, because it sounds spicier for her to say it. It sounded a lot more harsh in the edit than it did with the unedited version. So, well, it ain't necessarily off the hook, but you got to realize that when people are going to take yourself out of context, just watch what you're saying out in these streets. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of, Violet Chachki getting a lot of pushback from the Drag Race girls? But there were some people also that looked at the that posted in the comment, did she lie though? Like, a lot of people didn't really like this season. So we'll see how they vindicate themselves with season 18, and also with All Stars 10 that is coming out in like what, a week, 2 weeks, something or another. So we'll see. But Drag Race, y'all definitely need to set y'all pussies up in regards to the quality of the shows and stuff, because it is getting a little redundant. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It really was. It was like the headline was misleading. You knew that it was going to draw attention by titling the thing the way you highlighted it. Violet, I feel like she's like, yeah, I focus on more important things, which is just, it's no shade to the girl. So you have to know how to word your stuff, because people will always try to take what you say out of context and put it in a whole nother way. It's like, it's no shade to the other queens. However, yeah, I'm busy. I'm doing a lot of different things. Mick is always showing, because I think Mick got ADHD or some shit. So I could definitely see her annoying behind coming up to Violet and look at that, like a petulant child. It's like, girl, would you stop showing me videos? Like, I got a lot of things that I got going on. I don't need to be looking at stupid stuff that you find fascinating on your phone every 2 seconds. And especially if it's got to do with Drag Race or whatever the case is, and I got other things going on. But you want to keep showing me videos every 2 seconds. So it's like, yeah, I'm trying to focus on more prominent things instead of just the fluff that you get turned on by. But yeah, he was definitely being messy with that video, because it did make you look bad. I felt the edit was slightly vindicating of your situation, but it still looked a little messy. But anyway, and then I think that Ricky was making it worse, because the way he was responding and laughing, he was making it seem like, and I wouldn't be surprised if Violet fed into that a little bit, because when you're getting a rise and when you're getting all that, people, oh, I got to laugh out of this person. Oh, I got to ride. Oh, let me keep going with it. There's some people get off on that. Once you respond in a certain way, they feed more into it. So stand on business, sis, is what I'll say. All right, so let's get into our final topic. And that's about Manila Luzon, who is the latest. Well, there's been a lot of queens that have spoken out about Jiggly, who y'all already know passed away a couple of days ago after she had this big old infection and she had to have her leg amputated. So Manila recently spoke to Billboard about her friendship with fellow Filipina icon, or as some people in the Philippines say, Filipina, Jiggly Caliente, who said that she helped champion Asian representation on the reality television show. And I also forgot, because she mentions in this article that they used to do shows at the web. I forgot that Manila did shows at the web. It was like every Asian queen you could think of pretty much did shows at the damn web. That was my club. I miss that damn place. But anyway, so now, on the 27th of April, that would be this past Sunday, the family of Bianca Castro announced that the iconic performer, better known by her drag name Jiggly Caliente, had passed away. after battling a severe infection that resulted in the amputation of her right leg. Caliente came to public prominence after competing on season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race and quickly became one of the show's most celebrated queens. She returned to the show for season 6 of All Stars, served as a judge on Drag Race Philippines, and starred in a number of episodes on the groundbreaking FX series Pose. As tributes continue to pour forth in Caliente's honor, Billboard reached out to Caliente's close friend, Drag Race star Manila Luzon, to pay tribute to her life. Below, Luzon looks back at the first time the two of them met, her mutual love for reading each other, and why she considers Caliente to be the person that really started my chosen family. And I know this has got to be hard on Manila because Manila lost 2 people that were a part of the Drag Race world that had passed away. One was her ex. Well, I think they were still in a relationship. Sahara Davenport. Sahara Davenport died, and then it was like a decade plus later, she loses Jiggly. So, here's what she said. Now, I will say this. Now, for those who's looking to help, Caliente's family has opened up a GoFundMe. I'm gonna show y'all that after the fact. First of all, they're trying to raise $100,000. As of now, it's at 48%. So they have been able to raise $47,636. And so, if you guys are interested in if you want to donate some money, you could definitely. There is a GoFundMe set up for Jiggly, so that way they'll be able to funnel what they need to funnel. So, and this is to help pay for medical and funeral expenses and to give the drag star the beautiful, heartfelt goodbye that she deserves. And this is sad that we have one of the worst situations in the United States. Everything is expensive, like medical costs is expensive. Everything is just like pay. And we have nothing to show for it. And it's sad that you have to come up with so much money to be able to just do anything. But anyway, so let's get into this. So it says, shortly after, well, this is what Manila says. She says, shortly after I started dating Sahara Davenport, she took me to dinner celebrating one of her drag queen friends, and that's where I first got to meet Jiggly. It was funny because when I first met Sahara in a dark bar, I had just come back from vacation in Mexico, and Sahara had misheard me and thought I was from Mexico. So when I met Jiggly, this little round Filipino drag queen, she looked at me, turned to Sahara and said, "Girl, he's not Mexican. He looked Filipino." Also, I guess because Sahara was talking about him. And then the very next night that we went to visit Jiggly at the Web, which was the gay Asian nightclub in New York City, she was DJing in this little hip hop room. She had a disc changer and her massive folder full of burned CDs of Beyonce and Missy Elliott. I remember being so impressed because I certainly didn't know how to DJ, and have a drag queen DJing felt like, oh, you could perform as a drag queen, but also DJ. She just had this authority about her as the one entertaining the crowd. She had complete control over the room with the music she was playing. I always found that very admirable. Quickly, Jiggly became the first person that I considered my chosen family as a gay person. I had been living in New York City for a few years, but I really didn't have that queer community at that point. Jiggly was Filipino, and she was my connection to that part of my own heritage. She was a year older than me, even though she's smaller, and loved to say that she was my little sister. In the Philippines, you always refer to your older sis as, I think it's 8. So whenever she would say, "Oh, I'm her little sister," I would go, "Girl, no, you're my 8." Is it 8 or Ate? But I guess we'll go with 8 because it's spelled ATE. So it says that she was the bridge for me to drag performance in New York City. I was a drag queen, but I wasn't really going out and pursuing drag. Jiggly, meanwhile, was always out. She was going to Barracuda. She was at therapy. She was doing, rest in peace to Barracuda, by the way. She was always doing competition. She was always winning because she was such an impressive dancer. She started my chosen family. Why I fell in love with Jiggly so much was because, first of all, she was so beautiful. You could never come for her face. She would always read everyone for their mugs, even back before Drag Race. She had just the most blended, beautiful mugs. But what I always loved about her is that she was this short, tiny, yappy little queen, and she had a mouth on her. She would tell everyone like she saw it. She would not let you get away with anything. If something was wrong with you, she would always be the first to point it out, and never out of spite. She said it because she had very little filter, and she was always able to deliver it in a way that was shady but so funny. Oh, damn, she sound like me. You would always laugh about it. She was brave enough to always say the things that no one else would ever have the guts to. Now, at the web, she was the runt of the litter, so we always were picking on Jiggly in the dressing room. But she would always get us back and would know just what to say to shut us all up. You could not tell her that in the Destiny's Child group, she was not Beyonce. That is what I loved about her. Even if she wasn't at this conventional drag beauty, she had this confidence about her. She knew that she was an amazing performer, that she had mug for days, that she was going to win over every crowd she was in front of, and that she would read you to the house down or read you the house down if you came for her. When we would be on the phone calls kikiing, we would both always be saying the most horrible things to one another. I would tell her we are going to hell for laughing at this, but that was the thing about her. She always found the humor in everything, even when everything in the world was going bad. Jiggly had this way of turning it around and making you laugh at it. It's so strange because as I've been reading all of these tributes to her, I keep going to call her because I just want to kiki with her about her own death. I want to know what she's thinking about everyone talking about her. She would probably love it, I would think. So yeah, let me put up the GoFundMe so that way y'all can see that. They said she loved the pageants. One time we were on tour with the Miss Universe pageant. Oh, they said when the Miss Universe pageant was airing. We were in Europe. It was the middle of the night, and we had just finished our show. Jiggly refused to get out of drag. She was in full makeup, rhinestones, the wig, and I just looked at her like, why are you doing this? We are on a tour bus. And Jiggly was like, well, I have to be dressed up. It's the pageant. Just in order to watch the pageant, she had to be in full pageant mode. So she sat there in drag, and we watched Pia Wurtzbach win Miss Universe. She also loved comic books. She was the foremost expert on the Marvel Universe before it was big. She knew all of the side characters and their backstories, and she had these dreams of what her ideal X-Men movie would look like. She thought that she was Jubilee, the young Asian superhero who would shoot sparkles out of her fingers, and that is literally Jiggly to a T. Even when she was in the hospital, we would be playing the X-Men cartoons. There was that geeky side, that nerdy side of her that I love. You know what? That'd be a good drag name, Jubilee Sparkles. So it was like, I also want to say, I'm going to miss her kicking all of our asses in Mortal Kombat. Whenever she would come over, it would be me, her, my husband, Valentina, Heidi in closet, and we would she would just destroy us, though Heidi would probably read this and disagree with me. It's just those little things, that little gamer, comic book nerd side that you wouldn't guess about her when she's in a sequin gown, lip syncing something so fiercely on the stage that I'll miss. I went to go visit her at the hospital in New York City last week. I had been aware of her situation and was in contact with her brother. I was being patient. She had a severe infection, and at first it was mostly a concern of, well, how is my friend going to feel that she had to have a limb amputated? Jiggly became so popular because she was such an amazing dancer, you know. She was high kicking and doing cartwheels. So for a short, round little drag queen, it was always a crowd pleaser. So it was devastating to hear the news about her limb. So I was just trying to be very patient for her to recover, but the infection was so severe and her body was under so much trauma that it was really hard to see her in the hospital. When I finally heard she had passed on Sunday, obviously I felt really sad, but I was also relieved. We would have gotten her a really fierce rhinestone prosthetic and some gorgeous gowns, but I know that would have been very difficult for her. So in a way, I was relieved. She was surrounded by her family and her friends and her drag family, and I know that she felt the love and all the positive energy from around the world once her family released a statement about her condition. I mean, there was this outpouring of love, and she got so many visitors in the hospital, friends, co-stars, family, people from all points of her life who were able to come visit her. We were all able to see her in her last days and to be with her and share our stories. As drag artists, a lot of us are seen as rich and famous because we were on TV, but drag is a very expensive career. We have very expensive uniforms for work. Jiggly deserves a send-off worthy of the star that she was, and we also want to make sure that her family does not have to worry about finances. They're worried enough about the loss of Jiggly, so we're turning to the fans to help support by helping out with some of the medical bills and helping with the funeral arrangements so that burden isn't there as well. Jiggly just had her brother. Jiggly just has her brother left now. She had lost her mother many years ago, so my heart goes out to her brother, John, or is it John? Gian, that's how it's spelled, who now has had to say goodbye to both his mother and his sister. I don't have to hope. I know she secured her legacy. She went on a drag race as a trans woman when it was still taboo because she knew that she had to get on the show. And not say all of this, that yeah, you have to get on the show, you have to keep it quiet, you can't go on, because the whole aesthetic of the show was supposed to be like Project Runway, which is you start out as men and then you transition yourself into female impersonators on this show. So that's what it was supposed to have, that whole aesthetic. It was never supposed to be about trans people being on, but because a lot of people were bitching and complaining that they wanted diversity, they changed it up. So now we have more trans people on the show. So yeah, so she went on and said, after that, everyone agreed that she was a star, but I really hope people remember her for not taking herself too seriously, excuse me, while still taking herself seriously enough as a woman. I hope people remember what she's done for her communities, the Filipino community, and representing Filipinos and Asian Americans in the media, and for her activism and representation in the trans community. She produced the show Translation with Peppermint, Carmen Carrera, and Kylie Sonique Love, where they openly talked about trans issues. She made that happen. That was her concept and her idea. Her gender identity was always so important to her, and she was a woman as long as I knew her. I knew that she would be remembered for that. Or I know she will be remembered for that. She will always be remembered by the people she loved as the fun, loving, shady, goofy, little Jiggly, and I will always remember her as my sister. So that was Manila's very long tribute to her. And I was like, you know what? Shout out to you. And shout out to all those people who do Jiggly. I've seen her a few times when I was at the web, so I didn't really know her like that. But it was like, when I used to go to the clubs, I used to see all the Asian girls and stuff up in there. So I was rooting for Jiggly when I saw her on Drag Race and some of the other Sahara Davenport and Honey Davenport and some of the other queens that have gone on. Miss Cracker, who I knew before she went on Drag Race. I used to go to a lot of her shows when she was at Hell's Kitchen. And Bob the Drag Queen and some of the other girls, Bianca Del Rio. It's like all of them started popping my head now. But yeah, so shout out to y'all. If you definitely want to, I put up, as you can see, the GoFundMe, so that way if you want to donate some money or whatever, I don't know how long it's going to be open up until, does it say? World of Wonder sent $5,000. Shout out to them. World of Wonder donated $5,000. So shout out to y'all. So yeah, what their thing says is that our beloved Bianca was so much more than a star or a trailblazer. She was our sister, our friend, our fierce competitor, our biggest laugh in the room. She wore her heart on her sleeve, and gave every piece of herself to the world, her strength, her beauty, her humor, her truth. And she asked for so little in return, just to be seen, to be loved, and be able to love back. We want to honor her in a way that she lived, proud, full of color, full of heart. We are putting together a celebration of life that will be a true reflection of her spirit, not just mourning the loss, but celebrating the incredible, unstoppable life she lived. We're asking for your help. Your support will go directly toward the funeral, memorial services, medical bills, related expenses, and everything needed to give Jiggly the beautiful heartfelt goodbye she deserves. Any funds beyond that will be donated to causes she cared deeply about, causes that fought for the people she fought for every day. While we're finalizing the plans now, there will be a private ceremony for close family and friends and a larger public celebration where we can all come together to remember her, to laugh, to cry, to hold each other up, just like she always did for us. We'll share updates soon on Jiggly's official pages. Thank you for every bit of love that you've given her. Thank you for being part of her story. She loved hard and she loved hard in return. With all our love and gratitude, John and family. So there you have it. Shout out to the Arabejo family, and shout out to Jiggly, who's probably, reunited with her mama. And Kiki with the other Drag Race girls that passed away up in the heavens. You know, they putting on a show for the girls and the gays and everybody in between that want to come to them drag shows. Can you imagine what a drag show is like up in heaven? That must be iconic. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Manila Luzon had to say and her paying tribute to the one and only Jiggly Caliente? You know, so many great talents we're losing, unfortunately, but yeah. So, but I'm glad she's at peace because I can only imagine like you dealing with that infection and the amputation and the overall lifetime of pain and suffering and rehab she would have had to deal with. So, you know, sometimes when people leave the earth, that's just better that they don't have to deal with all that, the excess pain and the financial craziness that comes with all of that. So kudos. So shout out to her and her family. So I say all this to say, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Well, it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, for one last time, please hit that like button. Please, if you have not, subscribe to the channel. And also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll try to come on tomorrow if there's any more interesting topics that we could talk about. You know, latest entertainment news and gossip and all that good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow and give you all another show. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for kikiing with me in the comments and all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao, darlings.